¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Live from New York. It's a show that's just excited to have you back in full health.
I feel good.
You know, that bit killed.
I feel good.
There was a point during today's, pre-production meeting.
I didn't know if you were going to tell him you said that.
Yeah, I was not told.
I just have to know I know.
Wilds was really bothered.
No, it wasn't bothered. It was a realization.
I've known it.
I didn't realize. There was a certain point in Destiny's Child where we looked at each other like, I think this is like Beyonce, like a real star. I don't think we're a group anymore.
Wilds turned to me today and said, we were watching a video. He said, stop the video. Turns to me. Dead serious. He was
100%.
like, I think we're just a part of Brew's show.
Yeah, he did. It's okay.
And I was like, I've
the way
been
the show's
knowing
gonna
that.
grow. I didn't know that.
I've known this for a few years.
I
Boy, it took you so long.
I didn't know it until.
Yeah.
I'm like Tito Jackson out here. I'm like, dang, I think this is Michael's group. First hour, first things first. Today, Ravens-Chiefs is a matchup against this Baltimore defense. Exactly what Mahomes needs to get on track. Wait till you see these stats that I pulled. Holy cow. Meanwhile, college football roundup and a new Heisman favorite, the voice of Fox College Football, Joel Klatt, joins us in about 20 minutes.
College football.
Unbelievable sports weekend. College football, Ryder Cup, NFL starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. Unbelievable weekend.
Yes, sir.
The Badgers going to fire their coach. I'm going to sneak that in there. You guys try to sneak so much Syracuse.
That was off the air. We did the Syracuse thing. Ask Joel
Syracuse
about it off the
is
air.
rolling.
Yeah.
I know.
Our
Ever since
quarterback tore his Achilles, which is
not great. And finally, the illustrious committee met deep into the night.
Yeah.
It's another edition of the best segment in all of sports. Have the Eagles climbed back to their perch atop a tiers? Find out promptly at 4 o'clock alongside the star of the show, Chris Broussard and Kevin Wilds. Nick, how was your meeting in
It's good. We had an offsite.
Oh, where'd you go?
Really?
Nice little Japanese steakhouse.
Oh, wow.
It's nice. They had the committee sign a little tile on the wall.
Wow, that's
really cool. Yeah, it's all true. Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
Fantastic.
No free ads,
Great.
but shout out to them. They know who they are.
But we're starting with the First Things First Bowl, Part 3. Ravens at Chiefs. Baltimore favored by almost a field goal in Arrowhead. Mahomes facing this Ravens defense that is not good, not to mince words. Here's Patrick today. Take a listen.
We got to start faster. I think every game we've kind of said that we haven't really got to do that. And we were moving the ball early in the game last week, but we're settling with field goals. And when you play teams that are really good and have dynamic quarterbacks like the Ravens do, you got to turn those into touchdowns. And that will not only put pressure on them, but it unleashes Spags to be able to do what he wants to do. We got to take pressure off our defense and put pressure onto them by starting faster, and we can be better at that this week.
Okay, if he puts pressure on this Baltimore defense, they will fold, it looks like. They have the worst, giving up the most points, most rushing yards, most rushing touchdowns, and they only have 3 sacks, which is strange considering you played, Jared Goff. I can see it if you can't get to Josh Allen, but Jared Goff, you should be able to.
Well, they got a
Really?
great O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lions
grab
great
one.
Yeah.
Can I put this
Can
I put that graphic into context?
Sure.
Now the defense hasn't been good.
Brew, hold on. Before you put anything into context, if we're going to talk about the game,
Yeah, you have to.
we have to
Oh,
talk about the game. I mean, you have to
Right.
set the. I mean,
Oh, man.
We had a good run.
That's a terrible start.
We gotta have to go back
That's
to
a terrible
the
start.
curtains.
We had a good run.
That's an unbelievable. Gianna, what'd you do? That was Gianna's fault. She's in charge of making sure that doesn't happen. Brew, I shouldn't have interrupted you for that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, they have played two of the highest scoring offenses in the league. Partly because they played the Ravens.
Well, yeah.
But still, no, the Bills obviously got a great offense and the Lions, so I'll give them that.
Okay.
The Ravens need this more because they have demons to exercise. No question about it. Obviously, last year, 2 years ago, the loss to Kansas City, granted it was in Baltimore, but still, it's the Chiefs. When everything was pointing to this is their year, right? This is the Ravens' year, and they lose to the Chiefs in horrible fashion. So that's one. But they have lost their last 4 games to elite teams. Like, their last 4 games versus elite teams, they've lost. Obviously, the 2 this year with the Bills and the Lions, the playoff game to the Bills last year, and then they lost to Philadelphia late last season. Now, they beat Buffalo early last season, and there was another.
Well, they won a playoff game last year.
Yeah, Houston.
Okay.
We're
just throwing.
I mean, so I'm just saying, like, the ultra elite, like top 5-ish teams in the league, they've been 0-4 in their last 4 tries. So I just feel like.
It was Pittsburgh in the playoffs, which was falling apart.
Right.
Yeah.
So they, like I said it yesterday, after this game, you got the Rams. Okay, the Rams are pretty good. But still, you got a long run of mediocre to bad teams to decent teams. And so I just want them to get a win. They need to have a win over like one of the league's creme de la creme teams. And even though the Chiefs are 1-2, they're still obviously a very good team. Then finally, Lamar 1-5 against the Chiefs.
Yep.
I think he beat them, 2021 in a shootout, 36-35.
Yeah, they went for a 4th down late to ice
that was
the
a
game.
great game.
The numbers are jarring as far as Lamar's success or lack thereof against the Chiefs.
So I just think if he's got to exercise his demon, as he had last year with Pittsburgh and in the playoffs and things like that. And here's the thing, though. When you have more at stake, which I think the Ravens do, there's more to gain. Like, if they win this game, and I was heartened by, I don't know if it was Harbaugh, it was a player that said, maybe it was Marlon Humphrey, we got the Chiefs coming up, so this is good for us.
Was that on his podcast when he was wearing the towel?
I hope not, but maybe. But I don't know if it was him or not, but one of the players said that, and I'm glad, like, they got to, you would think we got a tough loss, let's get a cupcake in here and beat them. But no, I'm glad they're looking at it like we got another tough game. Yeah.
But a lot to lose as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So listen, to me this is crystal clear. The Chiefs would like to win, the Ravens need to win. And Kansas City is in a spot where once they lost their first 2 games and knew they had Baltimore in week 4, it's like, all right, 1-3 is very possible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like 1-3 is more than on the board here, and we have reason to believe things can get better once Rashee Rice gets back, and we have reason to believe that things on the defensive end are already trending in the right direction. I also think Kansas City has not been embarrassed this year. I thought they played really poorly in week 1, and they were in it. I thought they played fine in week 2 as far as overall team, and I think should have, could have won that game. I think they left the Eagles game frustrated, angered, but not like the hell's, you know what I mean? Yeah. What the hell's wrong with us? I think Baltimore has been in 2 different ways embarrassed this year, and the one win they had, I don't think they felt great about. Like the losing to Buffalo the way they did. Maybe embarrassing is the wrong word, but concerning.
It was just disheartening.
Disheartening,
I mean, they gave that
and
one away.
And having Detroit run all over you the way they did in your building and kind of, more alpha male you in a football sense can be demoralizing. And for that team with that DNA, as you talk about, embarrassing. And the Browns game is a really weird one because in that game, the Browns had more passing yards, had more rushing yards, had more time of possession, were better on third down, and got blown out because they couldn't.
Well, that was a game that you would have thought. I hear you on the yardage, but the defense made some big plays. So you would have thought, okay, the defense, that was a good game.
So that's the little concern I have is the defense had some opportunistic good plays, but the Browns still, who can't move the ball on anyone, moved the ball pretty well. It was a blocked punt, it was a fumble return, it was an interception, it was all those things. And so the other piece of it is, even though you and I are in agreement, Brew, that it is very difficult as we sit here today to find 7 quality AFC teams. Like right now, if you're a Bengals fan, you're like, my God, why is Joe Burrow hurt? You know what I mean? Like there are different things going on. The Ravens' schedule, if we can put it up, if they fall to 1-3, you get a little nervous.
Really?
Well, look at their next 3.
For the playoffs?
Look at their next 3 if we can put it up at some point. The Ravens' schedule. They have Houston, then the Rams, and then the Bears. None of those are like, oh my God, impossible games. In fact, it's certainly easier than Bills, Lions, or Chiefs. But it's 3 teams that all believe they're supposed to be in the playoffs this year, that are all fighting for something, and that are all, winnable games, so to speak. And so,
but if they go 1-3, now the Rams are a good, legitimately good team. If you lose to the Texans and the Bears when you're 1-3 and kind of desperate,
what if you just lose to one of them?
Then what would you be, 3-4 at that point? If you lose to.
Well, I mean,
because I think you will make the playoffs in the AFC 11-6 and maybe 10-7.
Oh, I think they're going to make the playoffs in the AFC at 9-8.
So that's all I'm saying. Like,
I'm not so much saying
they're not missing the playoffs.
That you'd be worried about missing the playoffs. What I'm saying is, it'd be fair to question how good is this team.
Well, if they lose to Houston and Chicago, yes. Not if they lose to the Chiefs.
Go ahead, KW.
You don't think you would be okay if the Chiefs lose?
I obviously would not be okay. I'm not okay with any Chiefs loss. What I think is, here is what I think. I think that the Chiefs are still, even at 1-2, playing in a different narrative pool than every other team in the league, including Philadelphia. I think one of the reasons, I think that there is a scenario where the Chiefs win, but they win 21-17.
I guess
and the question, and
that would be impressive.
Well, but
to hold the Ravens
would it? Because
17.
I feel like it would be holding the Ravens to 17 would be impressive. But I would feel like we would be back in but everyone's lighting up the Ravens defense. You know what I mean? So I think that the real impact of not having the 2 starting wide receivers, you can attribute one of the 2 losses to from earlier this year. So I believe the Chiefs, despite having a tough, early schedule, can survive it, and I think are in place to survive it. And that what they have next is Jacksonville. And so in Jacksonville, I know they're 2-1, but I haven't been impressed by them. It's not that I'd be okay with it. Mm-hmm. It's that I am not at all worried about the Chiefs panicking. And I feel like the Ravens were showing signs of panic adjacent during the game. Okay. And we've seen them like that.
I think the Chiefs have something to lose. Not as much as the Ravens, but I think they would want this game. Where either team, I think you would be in panic mode if they lost, because I don't think either team should be in panic mode if they lose, unless one of them is blasted. If they blast the Chiefs, or if the Chiefs blast them, then you have to really worry about that team.
Right, but so here's...
Including the Chiefs, I really believe
it. Let me give a better answer maybe to the question you asked. If the Ravens win, and these 2 teams play in the playoffs, if the Ravens win and they end up the 2 seed and they're playing the 7 seed wild card Chiefs, do you think the Chiefs walk into that game with any shadow of a doubt they can beat Baltimore?
No, I think playoff Patrick Mahomes should never be doubted.
And so, but let's do the opposite. the Chiefs win this game, and Lamar is now 1-6 against Patrick, and they play in the postseason. Yeah. Like, you know, right now, is there a if the Ravens have played the Chiefs as of Sunday, and the Chiefs played the Ravens more than these two teams have played anyone else over the last 19 months, because they played the AFC title game, they played last year, so even divisional opponents, they haven't played more in this short period of time. If the Chiefs just beat them every single time and have beat them for Lamar's whole career, and it's a team you feel like you're probably going to have to go through in the postseason, that to me is a big problem for Baltimore.
Well, particularly if they beat you this year when they've been struggling and they don't have their top receiver, Rashee Rice.
So since 2021, 4 of 34 teams, which is 12%, that start the season 1-3 make the playoffs. I feel like we're like, well, of course, one of these teams is definitely going to make the playoffs. It's just...
I'm putting no faith in that stat.
Okay.
Because as Nick has said before, typically... 90% of the teams at least that start 1-3 are bad. Oh, the Ravens and the Chiefs are not bad.
I know they're wearing the uniforms of teams that were traditionally very good.
The quarterbacks are still great.
But this is also
quarterbacks are still
Derrick Henry. Are you questioning Derrick Henry? I get it. He's fumbled.
I'm just living in a world, and I know we got Matt off on the wrong foot last time, but there's a lot of people within this 30 teams that are like, well, it's not us. You're never part of the stat.
I doubt any of those 30 teams had the track record of either of these two teams. And I also think the fact that you believe the Chargers, the Eagles, the Bills, and the Lions are maybe the 4 best teams in football. Right, or at least 4 of the 5 best. And they have these two teams' 4 losses have come in 1-score games to those 4 teams. So it's part pedigree, it's part that the schedule has fallen to where they are playing some great teams early. But the other part of it is this, and this is what is also rare, and then we can move on. If the playoffs started today, the 1-2 Ravens would be in. That's where the AFC is right now. Yeah. So you're saying 11 will get you in, 10 should. I really believe 9 will get you in the playoffs this year in the AFC. And the NFC, it appears that it's going to be different. So I just think there is a bigger margin of error to right the ship in this conference this season.
Sure. I also think there's going to be like a team that we don't think is good right now that makes a run
there'll
late.
Be one.
Yeah. Like, that team was 1-2 and was not.
It just won't
good.
Cost one of these two teams.
I don't think so. I would be shocked if either of these teams missed the postseason.
But stand on that.
I might be shocked too.
I would, but I just don't. I'm not willing to just say, everything is great in Ravens land. They have the worst defense. It'll get figured out. Patrick Mahomes can't complete more than 63% of his passes, but that will definitely get figured out because Rashee Rice is missing, even though we knew Rashee Rice was going to miss some amount of games.
We didn't know that Xavier Worthy was going to miss the whole exact same amount.
Well, you have to assume that a skinny wide receiver might get hurt, and we knew there was a slim margin of error for the Chiefs.
Yes, and that's
so the fact that it came to fruition, I don't think it's like a huge shocker.
No, I agree. I agree. Okay. I'm not, but whether or not it is a huge shocker that they are in this position is not even in the same, in my opinion, like a category of discussion of does being in this position, does the loser of this team, of this game, really feel like they're going to miss the postseason? And somebody is going to lose this game, and that team will wake up the next morning with top 8 Super Bowl odds, with as the 3rd or 4th favorite in the conference. Right. Like that's what's going to like. Somebody's got to lose the game.
One of these teams is not going to the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that right now. Gotcha. Micah's misery. Happy to be a Packer. Sad for what that means he has to do when he lines up to take on his former team.
Is he really?
And quarterback Dak Prescott. Yeah, he said it. Take a listen.
It's going to be painful. You know what I mean? Dak's my guy. He was always like a good mentor for me. But you know what it is. I always told him if I ever faced him that, it'll be a great matchup. So I'm excited to see what Sunday brings.
Defensive ranks tale of a team with Micah Parsons and without. Packers are best in points, big plays, 5th in sacks. They don't let anyone convert a third down, while the Cowboys let everybody convert a third down, are 28th in sacks and are 27th in points allowed. Almost 7-point favorites, the Packers are. What are the chances that Mike and the Packers actually lose this game?
0.
Weird. Okay.
0.
What did I write?
0%. That makes
Nil.
my percentage go up.
Yeah.
No way, none.
Okay.
I said that the Giants had no chance of beating the Chiefs. I said the Dolphins had no chance of beating the Bills. They had a better chance of winning those games than the Cowboys do.
Okay.
This is going to be the last time Green Bay played Dallas.
Yep.
They blew them out. And that's when Dallas was good and had Micah Parsons, right, in that playoff game.
Oh, they
and
didn't
Green
play
Bay
last year? I didn't
wasn't
even realize.
as good.
Yeah.
And now that they actually have Micah and Dallas is bad, it's going to be ugly. Micah's returning to Dallas. CeeDee Lamb is out.
Tyler Booker is out.
Tyler Booker's out. The Packers are coming off an embarrassing loss. Like, this is going to be ugly. J-Lo is going to be Go long. Go long. You've been wondering when J-Lo's going to step up?
Jago.
He's going to step
That's
up
why it's his
in
show.
Texas Stadium.
Yeah.
AT&T.
So we
all
can
that.
listen. We probably went a little long on the Chiefs, so we can go quick here because we agree. This is for the gamblers out there. This is a must 6-point teaser leg to get the Packers down to just win the game. I mean, I think laying 7 points on the road can be tough with a team that's going to be slinging it all around. Again, backdoor cover stuff. But there's right now nothing the Cowboys are going to do really well. Without CeeDee Lamb, there's nothing they're going to be able to do really well. The Browns not only do something really well, one side of the ball for Cleveland is excellent. You know what I mean?
No, their defense is great.
And so,
Their
that is
yeah.
Now, listen, I thought the Packers were going to beat the Browns. And it obviously didn't come to pass. That was also, though, a team, it wasn't shocking to see the Browns defense really slow down Green Bay's offense. It would be shocking for Green Bay's offense to struggle. And without CeeDee Lamb and without Tyler Booker, I think it is very difficult to see how Dallas's offense is going to deal with what has been the best defense in football this year. Again, that I really want to reiterate for people that didn't watch Browns Packers. The Packers defense shut them down the whole game. The touchdown they scored, that drive started on the 4-yard line. The previous drive, they'd gotten down there, and they didn't kick a field goal. They had try after try. Like, this Packers defense is legit. And I also think there's just enough smoke to the Micah-Dak relationship stuff that right after he was traded and there was the reports of, a bit of a relief for Dak and those things, that I feel like there's an extra chip on your shoulder if you're Micah. Like, I would be absolutely gobsmacked if this game is in doubt in the second half. I think Green Bay handles them easily.
So if you guys are both at 0%, we've seen some huge lines this year.
Yeah.
A few double-digit lines. Are you surprised that
No,
this is?
because this is about as big of an underdog as a good quarterback at home ever will be. You know what I mean? Like, if you're at home with a good quarterback, you're just not going to be a huge dog. 7 points is big. But, you're not going to get the 12.5, 13.
But it's hard to find a path to a Cowboys victory.
Hard to find a path to a Cowboys victory. You can always find a path to a backdoor cover. And so, listen,
I do think I would be a little bit surprised if it's a 7-point game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, me
Not a
too.
little bit.
But
I would be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, my pick would be Packers by double digits, but I wouldn't be putting a mortgage payment on that. But on the teaser leg, we might be.
Green Bay is
the fact that there is something you put a mortgage payment on is scary.
Well, my house is not nearly as expensive as yours.
Finally, yesterday we heard from Donovan McNabb on the Eagles offense. Today it's Drew Brees, not a fan, telling Stephen A. on First Take, I respect Philly. They are winning games. I can't stand to watch that offense. It's the most boring offense. Brew, your reaction to Drew Brees.
Look, to each his own, but I don't find their offense boring at all. I would like them to throw it a little more, especially downfield, but I'm including last year.
Well, you can't. This year it's been boring.
Okay, But they have one of the best running backs in the league. I don't care what the stats say right now. And there's always a possibility he's going to break a 60-yarder. And to me, that's still the most exciting play in football is the long run by the running back. So that right there, I mean, look at what happened last year. Look at this one. Is this boring? This happened. And it was the Philadelphia Eagles, all right? I mean, that's a possibility every time they take the field. And beyond that, if you stop the run and they do have to pass, they got two exciting, dynamic receivers that are fun to watch. And finally, I'm going to say this, and this will stick in Nick's craw. I like the tush push.
There we go.
I don't like it 6 times a game. I'll give you that. I don't necessarily love it at midfield on a regular basis. But the tush push is arm wrestling.
Oh.
The tush push is mano a mano. It's not going to be exciting. You know what's coming. But it's fun to who's going to be the toughest. That's what the tush push is. So I like seeing that with the Eagles.
All right.
I get why you don't, but I like seeing it as the Eagles.
So listen, I think Breeze's point, if this is his point, I agree with him. They don't have boring players. They are calling boring plays. And because thus far this year, we can put up the Saquon numbers, we are not getting the 6 Saquon plays.
No.
And you know what I mean? Like, 70, once a game, he went for 20 plus. 3 times a game, he went for 10 plus last year. You know, it was so, that was, even though it was run heavy, it was exciting and explosive. This year, it's been even run heavier with none of the explosion. So, like, I think nobody doubts that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon are exciting, in theory, players, and Jalen Hurts can get them the ball. He hasn't been allowed to do it. But as I said earlier in the week, and Wilds poo-pooed it, but I think Wilds actually agrees with me because he said it 2 weeks ago, you're the Chiefs now, Philadelphia. It's not good enough to just win. I need to have those warm and fuzzy feelings you used to give me. And you're undefeated in real life, but in hypothetical situations, you're kind of 0-3. And so, if they don't block the kick, if CD catches it, if Travis doesn't tip it, and so that heavy is the head that wears the crown. It is not good enough to just win games anymore. You have to win games in a way people either have come accustomed to or in this situation have just kind of created that they would rather you do. Like that is the life of the undefeated
Maybe that's
Super Bowl
part of why
champion.
It's so hard to repeat.
Yeah.
A little bit. You got a lot of that's the noise.
Yeah, like winning is not enough. It has to be done a certain way.
That being said, solid take from Drew Brees.
You agree?
I don't agree.
I you're getting close to stepping
He just
off
likes that
Eagles'
he just likes that Breeze is coming out firing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Must win for Lamar Jackson in Kansas City. We discuss next. If you get a chance, check out the podcast in our YouTube channel. It's got some exclusive content. Gianna, do we have exclusive content on there? Oh, the confessional as we prepare for the First Things First Bowl Part 3. How was the editing? Good? Good. It's time now for a segment that is not literal, except when it totally is. Must win. Greg, Coach dominated with a shutout last week.
Teammates.
So you can prepare to go first. You can pass or play, obviously. We're going to head across the pond. Carson Wentz versus Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers had a bad game last week, said so himself. But you know what? Lamar Jackson is the only person who's thrown for more touchdowns. Last year, Rodgers also played the Vikings internationally, and he wasn't great. Threw 3 interceptions, had a passer rating under 55.
Was that the red line game? Was that the Mike Williams has to be on the red line?
No, I don't think
that was in London.
He threw a pick to lose it. I thought that maybe not, but whatever. It was one of they run together. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he does have 7. You mentioned that. You threw that in. He's got 7 TDs.
Yeah.
Second in the league.
Nevertheless, Greg, you can pass or play here.
I'll pass.
Wow, to who?
Wow.
Nick.
Wow, Nick, you're going first. Is this a must-win for Aaron Rodgers?
This must be.
No. This is a must get to week 5 healthy. Like, this is for real, this is a dangerous spot for Aaron. His lack of mobility inside and outside of the pocket against a defense that last week saw a quarterback who at this moment is actually similar traits-wise to Aaron Rodgers and Jake Browning, in that he's not going to be very escapable. You know what I mean? If he gets the ball out fast, can deliver it. Obviously, Rodgers, and we've seen it, Rodgers still, there are a couple clubs in his bag that are vintage. You know what I mean? The back shoulder throw, I don't know if it's a three-step drop, quick out. Like, he can still dial it up, and look as just like Aaron from 10 years ago. But there is, at this moment, a weird amount of Tua in his game, which is the moment it gets off schedule or the moment there is pressure, the play is dead. Okay. And Flores is going to send the house repeatedly. And so I think just getting out of this game, being knocked down less than half a dozen times and healthy, is a win for the Steelers.
That's true.
Yeah, straight answer.
No, it's a must-win, though.
Why?
Oh. Yeah, you must stay healthy, but you absolutely must win. This is when the first 6 weeks is when they're supposed to build up the wins, right? The schedule, yes, we all talked about it. They got the Browns and then the Bengals coming up. So they could have, had they played some good football. I mean, Seattle's a legitimate team, but it shouldn't have been that lopsided. 6-0 was on the board.
6-0.
Now 5. I'm just talking about because of the schedule. Now you got a break because Minnesota's QB is injured, and Carson Wentz, who hasn't played good football this decade.
He played it 4 days ago.
No, real good, real good football, like for a stretch.
You watch the games?
Yeah, he's played good football for a stretch.
4 days ago.
That was one game. A stretch. Anybody can step in for one game. I'm talking about a stretch of good football. You can't lose to him. All right, he's dusting off the cobwebs. And again, stack the wins. So in a few weeks when the schedule really does get tough. And finally, the Steelers need a little pick-me-up.
Oh, you think?
They're not feeling good. Even though they're 2-1, it's like, Aaron's not been what we expected. The defense has struggled. They need a pick-me-up. And what better way to do it than across the pond?
This is a must remind everybody to relax.
Throwback.
He has to play good. Like it's a must win. It's a must perform to the standard of what we all seem to hold Aaron Rodgers to. And that's the throwback version, the version that we all are watching, waiting on the edge of our seats, believing that we're going to get every single week. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers understand, if we get that version, we're a team that's going to be in contention. Aaron Rodgers has to prove against a defense that we know is going to get after him.
Yeah.
Get the ball out. Be accurate with the football. And even if you do get outside the pocket, make those types of throws that remind us of.
And I also don't think that it's good for the Steelers that they're facing the backup. I think right now, this moment, Carson Wentz is better than J.J. McCarthy.
True, obviously.
Why? Why?
He tried to come in at the end.
Little bonus thing, right?
Bruce, look
I
at
think
the
you should
schedule.
get docked a point for that when he gets
Battle of the winless teams in the AFC South. 0-3 Titans, 0-3 Texans. Also a battle between Nick and our producers who didn't want to do this one. Defense great, CJ struggling. Texans rank since drafting CJ Stroud. Came out of the gate. Hey, this is easy, Caleb. Let me tell you how it's working. Then, dropped a little bit. 19th in points, 21st in yards per game. And now, dead last in points and 26th in yards per game. But they're playing the lowly Titans. Is this a must-win for CJ, bro?
Most literal of must-wins. Look, I maybe you'd write them off at 1-3. They would still be in the hunt. In that division with the Colts.
Right off anybody.
The Colts could fall off. We'll see. They're playing good football. But that division is still there for the taking. But you got to beat the Texans. 0-4. Titans. 0-4. Two losses.
Docking.
2 losses. You can't have a stumble?
No.
Listen to the knowledge.
I know, but we're on a nice edge up here.
All right, I'm not going. I had some good
No,
stuff.
hold it.
I had some good stuff.
What do you mean, hold it?
I don't
He's
know.
never
I
gonna talk about this
gotta
group. Go ahead.
unleash
Ignore
this.
it. Go ahead.
CJ Stroud has gotten the benefit of the doubt from all of us until now. We have said he hasn't played well, but he's still an elite quarterback. It's a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
It's, whatever. If he loses to Cam Ward and the Titans, he moves to the other side of the benefit of the doubt where he doesn't get it anymore. We always leave room for a reclamation, as we've seen.
Reclamation?
No, but at this point, it's been a long time since CJ's played some really good football. He needs to go. If he loses to the Titans,
Reputations.
yeah, I think his reputation is at stake. He'll just fall to, okay, he's all right. We'll see if he can become something.
This is a must-win for CJ, and in every sense of the word. Like, must win individually, must be the best quarterback that we see on the football field. Wow. All of the above. CJ Stroud has to be the reason why. A little bit about last year. Like, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because offensive line was banged up and just atrocious. Every single receiver that he acquired coming into that season suffered an injury, the name guys. Mm-hmm. This year, you know what you have. Yep. And we have you, CJ, because we feel like you can overcome some of this stuff. There's nothing coming. There's nothing that's going to save you. You are to be the savior, and you haven't been that. And if you can't get it done against the Titans, like, score some points in the third quarter. You haven't scored at all in the third quarter. You can't keep doing that. You're going to allow your team to get in a hole that you can't clearly get them out of. It's a must-win.
Listen, they're the first team in the last 20 years to start 0-3 despite allowing 55 points or less. They've only allowed 51 points so far this year. They haven't won a game. CJ also has not been the same player since that moment. He was 11-6. He had 26 touchdowns, 5 picks, a 101 rating. Since that moment,
you were early on this.
This is a classic too. I told you guys in the moment this was out of line, and the football gods agreed with me. And so, listen, you're saying, Brew, you won't write them off if they lose. They are written off if they lose.
I said I would.
Oh, okay. You're saying if they win, they would stave off elimination. Also, by the way, you can't lose to Brian Callahan at this point. Like, there is a DeMeco Ryans component of this as well. He gets a bit of a pass because he's a defensive coach and their defense is awesome. But Brian Callahan is out here playing tic-tac-toe. And so you can't lose. It's a must-win for the Texans organization.
That was strong for Nick, but he too bad he has lost that point.
No.
For what? The penalty in the first round.
Did I get the point?
That was
yes,
good.
Obviously, Greg, this is the bonus round. You can steal it. But right now, we're moving on to the First Things First Bowl, and our banner system
is back. We are back.
Sure. Ravens are in Arrowhead. Both teams here are 1-2, but they're not a normal 1-2. They're a good 1-2. Career head-to-head. It's true, guys. You should have seen the A block, including the playoffs. Mahomes has 5 wins against Lamar. Lamar's got 1. And Mahomes basically has every category. Lamar.
Not basically, literally, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's some categories that aren't on the graphic.
Some other ones that
some EPA.
Rushing.
Some advanced
I said rushing.
advanced stuff.
Probably
all right,
rushing.
Greg, you need this one badly. It's a must-win for you. Is it a must-win in this game as well?
Absolutely. It's a must-win for the Baltimore Ravens. It's clear. There's no reinforcements coming for these guys. We've seen Kyle Van Noy on this defense. We've seen them get 40 put on them. 41 put on them, actually. We've seen Metabuke still out there and get 41 put. Like, there are reinforcements coming for that team that's out there with Patrick Mahomes on the offensive side. So we have a belief that they will improve. Who are you? We see you whining. We see you just completely discombobulated in terms of your emotions, both running back, star guys. Like, we know you can score points. Defensively, I don't know if you can do what you did last year all over again this year, and that's go from worst to first. Like, that's not happening. Lamar's putting up 37 points, and this offense has got it humming. But against this team, if you let this team beat you and all of those other issues that you have going on within that building and that are transferring over to the field, you're going to unravel from the inside out.
Oh, wow. Listen, it's a must-win for the Ravens and the Ravens only because of the graphic you showed, Wilds. The Ravens are at some point going to have to, if they are SBOB, beat a good team in the postseason.
Yeah.
And we have seen them play the Bengals and lose in the postseason. In fairness, in that one, Lamar didn't play. We've obviously seen them lose to the Bills in the postseason. We've seen them lose to the Chiefs in the postseason. They can't get to the postseason right now, but what they can do is give themselves a measure of confidence and stability if this is the team they play in the first, second, or conference championship game. Also, I don't know that Lamar thinks he can beat Patrick. And we have seen that Lamar can get, as he would call it, antsy, I think is how he called it, in spots. He oddly seemed antsy in that Lions game, even though they were coming off scoring 40 in back-to-back games. Derrick Henry was as emotional in that spot as we've ever seen him. I just feel like the Chiefs, if they lose this game, have enough championship reserve to stay relatively stable. I don't know that the Ravens do. This is a must-win for Baltimore, which is a shame because they're not going to.
This is a must-win for the Ravens because of some of the reasons these guys said. I said they got demons to exercise. They got to beat some elite teams. But also because your number one fan on national TV is running out of bits. Am I supposed to come out on a stretcher next Monday if they get beat by the
we
Chiefs?
Actually had a meeting about that today.
An ambulance gonna bring me in? What are we gonna do? So those reasons is a must win. And I'll throw in this as a bonus because I know you like that.
Yeah.
And you'll love this, Wilds, because you like to create new phrases that are truthful, but that really summarize the situation. Yeah. You know, defense wins championships. I'm creating one for the Chiefs. Not a must-win, but they're must-win adjacent. They are must-win adjacent. You don't want to fall to 1-3. The 3 elite teams you have played this year will have beaten you, 2 of them in your own house. Oh, you know what happens when somebody comes into your own house and beats you. Sandwiches, chips, and soda pop, all that. That would be twice in your own house, 3 times technically, because the Chargers game was a home game.
No, it wasn't.
And that game, I mean, technically.
No, technically that was a Chargers game.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah,
so 2 times. But then, never mind. The flourish is great.
It's a flurry. It's a flurry at the end of the round.
And that Giants win would feel like nothing.
What are you doing?
Brew got it.
The
flurry at the end of the round. I don't even know how many landed.
You didn't know what he was doing.
No, Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvin Hagler, baby.
It's like, just give it to him.
No, I dropped knowledge, too.
Yeah, he got it.
The
Knowledge.
must-win adjacent.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
You're calling
They
the Brazil
absolutely
Charger
must
home
win the
game, a Chiefs game?
Did Russ play himself out of the Hall of Fame? We discuss next on First Things First. Yeah, he just stole the round.
Get back on
There's just a lot of
W column.
Russell Wilson at Boston, New York. Did he also lose his bust in Canton?
Oh. Okay.
Fourth team only lasted 3 games. Benched this week for Jaxson Dart. Russell Wilson career stats by team. With the Seahawks, really good. 292 touchdowns, passer rating over 100, 9 times to the playoffs, got himself a Super Bowl. But with the Broncos, Steelers, and now Giants, he's only won 39% of his games, and all the numbers aren't good. Did Russell just play himself out of the Hall of Fame?
Listen, I don't think he was in the Hall of had he retired at the end of his Seahawks tenure, I think he was going to miss.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think he would have been.
Wow.
I think he needed a little bit more, and he certainly didn't get it. So, there are 8 no doubt Hall of Famers during Russell's career. Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Breeze, Mahomes, Big Ben, Josh Allen, Lamar. Those guys are, you know what I mean? Those guys all played big portions during his career.
Stafford?
So I'm going to get to him. But those guys are no doubters.
Yeah,
now. You know, now that Josh has the MVP, he's a no doubter, I think. And everyone else definitely is. His peak was not as high as Cam, who won't make it, Matt Ryan, who won't make it, and Matt Stafford, who might make it. He didn't have the longevity of Eli or Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers, I don't think is going to make it. He was never, ever a top 3 quarterback in the league for 1 year, and you maybe can argue is top 5 one season.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if he played any position other than quarterback with that type of resume, it would be no question he's not a Hall of Famer. The only reason we are considering it is because he's a quarterback. I think he's not a Hall of Fame player.
I think had he retired at the end of his Seattle tenure, I think he probably would have gotten in. Obviously, he got the Super Bowl. I know the Pro Bowl is, whatever, but 9 Pro Bowls in 10 years. And, Nick, he was second-team All-Pro 1 year.
One time, yep.
Which is impressive. I mean, it's not easy to be All-Pro. And then 3 times he was in the top 4 in Offensive Player of the Year.
That's something.
3 times. So I think had he retired then, he would have made it. I still agree with you in that he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And he was young when he was, so you figured, okay, he's going to play 5-6 more years at that level or close. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. But trajectory is different than being like Lamar, obviously Mahomes, but Lamar, Josh Allen, they're in. They're not on a trajectory. They're in the Hall of Fame. I kind of feel like no matter what happens for the rest of their career. Joe Burrow, I think, is on a Hall of Fame trajectory, but not if you even want to give him that.
I don't think he is.
But he certainly got that talent. So that's different from being in. So I do think, unfortunately, these last 4 years have been so bad, the narrative's been so bad, that I don't think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. The one caveat, if Eli Manning gets in, I get it, he's got 2 Super Bowls, but regular season career, Russ has been way better than Eli. So that's might save him.
I'm with Nick. You can't play yourself out of something that you weren't in. And although Russ has had a tremendous career, and I'm saying it like it's over because I believe it's over.
You think it's done?
I think it's over. When we think about the period that he played his best football, when they were able to win it all, when they were able to even get back to it, was it because of him? Do we look at those teams and do we say, man, that was a Russell Wilson-led Seattle Seahawks? Or do we say, man, that Legion of Boom was unreal? That's what we do. That hurts him, in my opinion. Because he is a quarterback, we are having this conversation. I do agree with that. But all these other things, like once you move on and you already were kind of docked because, well, I made it early in my career and it was because of the defense. Everybody kind of says that. Yes, he played a huge role.
But then once it became his team,
absolutely,
they had a ceiling.
Exactly.
They were good. They were good,
but they could never get to where they wanted to get to. And then when it became all about him, he never even showed up for the party in Denver. It was a complete disaster.
The Denver thing's crazy because they traded away a historic draft haul and gave him a historic contract. Like it's almost that he's been so bad, we remember it as if, they were, trading for an older player.
Oh.
They thought that was.
Yeah, they gave up a.
Yeah.
So I honestly felt like if he had gone to Denver
and been good,
and he had been good, and they made the playoffs, and he had the same type of success, not the peak of just success of getting that team back to playoff contention, then. We're probably
Phillip
having a different
Rivers did it for the Colts.
He did.
And that was old Phillip Rivers. Like, that was not young Phillip Rivers.
Just yes or no answer, Greg, because we got to go to break. If Malcolm Butler doesn't intercept that.
He's in.
Yep.
Wow. But that's the other side.
Yep.
He threw that pick. He threw it.
That's where it was supposed to go. That was a Belichick.
No, it was supposed to go.
Live from New York, it's a show that's discussing whether or not Malcolm Butler ended Russell Wilson's Hall of Fame case.
Well, if Malcolm Butler doesn't pick it off, it's the greatest open to a career of any player in NFL history.
Yeah.
And then he's on cruise control. And
it's over Brady.
Right. And by the way, Brady at that point goes to 3-3 in Super Bowls, a decade without one. They draft Jimmy G. Like, it's a whole It's the single most.
He wanted to say Mahomes.
No. Mahomes wouldn't be on the Chiefs because every other thing across football would have been different. No. It's the single biggest sliding doors moment, legacy-wise, in the history of the league.
Wow.
It is. Hey. Russell Wilson's first 3 years go divisional round, Super Bowl over Peyton Manning and Tom Brady for a second-round pick, third-round pick.
It's actually an argument for him. It's like, look.
That starts a career.
Yeah. Second hour of First Things First today. The Bucs have had Jalen Hurts' number. Are we expecting a huge game this Sunday? Meanwhile, can Brew finally? Nope, that's not true. Joel Klatt is coming up, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So is it more of a must-win for Lamar or Mahomes? Because we already did must-win.
Oh, yeah, we switched it around.
I got tricked.
That's all right.
Well, thanks.
Good catch.
But right now, let me get you caught up to speed on what's been happening. Last night, while musing about the costs of Michelob Ultras at Bethpage, an elite committee of virtuosos, pundits, and people who think Jalen Hurts is actually on a Hall of Fame trajectory fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports. It's an honor and it's a privilege. It's time for Nick's Tears.
And you're absolutely right, KW, and we'll look back on Jalen Hurts and say if he just didn't drop the ball in the Super Bowl that flipped the game and they lost it, it's just maybe he would have been a Hall of Fame.
Remember, Jalen Hurts can only lose the game. He can't win it.
Well, I'm just, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson's the comp I've been making. Bruce hung up on the Terry Bradshaw one, but
he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Jalen Hurts?
Trajectory. He's not in, but you don't think trajectory?
Time for tears.
Of course he is.
Thank you. That's a topic.
All Super Bowl MVPs.
If looks could kill, I'd be dead.
I agree.
The way Nick looked at.
I agree with you guys.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't want to talk about Jalen Hurts all
Time for tears.
Right now. Because today's a monumental day.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Why?
First time of the year, teams have been eliminated.
Already?
They were facing.
4. You can't eliminate.
Hold on, Greg. Guys, the committee has hard and fast rules. If you are on the facing elimination tier and you lose, you are eliminated.
Wow.
5 teams were facing elimination last week.
Early?
Show us who's eliminated, please. You got any arguments, folks? Like, it's too early?
Probably
Is it for these 3 teams? No, it's not too early. Saints, out of there. Titans, out of there. Dolphins, out of there. 3 more teams facing elimination.
Right.
Oh, no. I'm just telling you, they are. Giants, Jets, Texans. They're facing elimination. The Texans are playing the damn Titans. But they're facing if you fall to 0-4 by losing the Titans, season's
we're
over.
not talking playoffs. They can't even be on the board.
No, they're no longer
facing elimination, editorial elimination, not necessarily playoff elimination.
Well,
it is.
The
But
other
the
3
committee, the committee's been around 6 years now. We have never had to uneliminate a team, ever.
Remember that defense.
Check it. We've never had to uneliminate a team. Let's move on. Heck of a weekend. Browns, Panthers. That's all it is. This is a heck of a weekend. Such a great weekend. They got their win. That's the other thing. These teams were facing elimination last week. They won. Now they can get blasted this week. It doesn't matter. They're smooth sailing for those teams. Good for them. Tough one. Reality's setting in. Bengals, Cowboys, Pats. Bengals, the reality is Jake Browning's not going to play 500 football like he did a couple years ago. For the Cowboys, it is, without CeeDee Lamb, we're actually not going to be good at anything. And for the Patriots, it's that we're actually still the Patriots. We commit a bunch of penalties. We turn the ball over a bunch. We don't have enough depth of talent. And fools like me were convinced by dopes like him to put them in the playoffs. I regret it. Tough watch. Raiders, just block somebody. My God. You create one hole for Ashton Genty. Poor guy's got more yards after contact than total yards. Falcons are very, very lucky that people don't watch because it's a bad watch right now. The Steelers, again, credit to being 2-1. I don't love how they've looked, honestly, on either side of the ball. It's post-week 1 on defensively the whole season. And the Broncos, if the Broncos narrative was, hey, snuck into the playoffs last year, building something with our young quarterback, great defense, fine. But Sean Payton sold us the bill of goods that this was better than 9 of his Drew Brees Saints teams and that his proprietary algorithm had gotten him the next great quarterback. It's not what we're seeing week in, week out. It's been tough to watch them miss all those long balls. Next, might have something. Bears, Seahawks, Cardinals, Jags, Vikings. Bears, you saw the offensive explosion last week. See what trajectories Caleb is on. Might have something. Seahawks have actually played pretty damn solid football all 3 weeks, and Mike McDonald's defense running around doing stuff.
Yeah.
Wilds guy, Sam Darnold's here, guy again.
No.
Cardinals, again, Jonathan Gannon's defense doing some things. If we can figure out what happened to Marvin Harrison.
What's going on?
You see that?
That is real.
It's a bizarre thing, man. It's really bizarre what's happening with Marvin Harrison Jr. And it does seem like it is mental. Listen, fair is fair here. Right now, the Jags' biggest problem is their passing game. And Trevor's not been great on third downs. The receivers are dropping the ball. They should be 3-0. And the defense is excellent. The running game's been good. So if Trevor can be better, they might have something. And the Vikings might have, we're a quarterback injury away from being a contender. That might have been the Vikings. Like, the JJ being out might be good for them in the short term because that defense is so good. Maybe there's a little wince something. Next, what is this not, Wilds?
Oh, it's not the standing.
I don't care that you're undefeated. You're not better than the teams above you. Sorry, Greg. I got him.
That's fair.
It's fair. You're 3-0, and you get credit for being 3-0. I'm not going to, really dive into the teams you've beaten to get to 3-0. It's good. It's impressive. It's surprising for the Colts. It's a relief for the Niners given the injuries. But I think you're going to be hard-pressed to actually say you think those two teams are better than any of the teams above them, even though many of the teams above them have won. Some even have 2 losses. No Terrence Crawford. What do I mean, Brew? They can't go up in weight class. They're good. They're good teams.
Wow.
But when they right now, when they play a heavyweight, they look like, okay, stay in your weight class. That I'm not saying that can't change.
Okay.
Fair is fair. Like, you can't. The Rams not seizing that moment for a team that has owned you is just devastating. And the Washington is a tough one to fully judge because Jaden's out. But that Packer game, good win this last week. But that Packer game kind of looms large. Like, right now, those teams haven't shown the ability to fight with the heavyweights. So no Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
Flawed champions, the Chiefs and the Ravens. There's no denying that these teams at the moment are flawed. The Ravens' defense has been one of the worst in the league, and their star running back is fumbling. Their star quarterback seems angsty. The Chiefs dealing with injuries, dealing with their own sideline issues, and the offense has been stuck in the mud. Luckily, they both have a championship pedigree to lean on. For the Chiefs, it's going to 3 straight Super Bowls, 5 of the last 6, winning 3 in the last 6 years, and 7 straight AFC championship games. For the Ravens, it's all the nerd stats that tell me they're the greatest team that's never made a Super Bowl. It's I guess different type of champions. The Ravens are the hypothetical champions of the decade. The Chiefs are the actual dynasty. But they're both flawed right now and need to get better. Terrifying to play. We saw what the Lions did to Brew. We saw what the Packers defense has done to everybody. And we've seen Baker Mayfield get the ball back, 90 seconds left trailing. We're going to go win this damn football game. Now, they all have at least some concerns. For the Lions, it's hard to say a concern after the week we just saw, but I still think what is the top of their defense is a concern. For the Packers, it's the Jordan Love stuff that we saw rear its head if he turns the ball over. And for the Bucs, they're just so injured right now. That does worry you, but you don't want to play any of these 3 teams. Can win anyway. Testament to your need our defense to step up and shut you down. Again, I didn't think the Eagles were going to be able to do that this year. They kind of did it against the Chiefs. They certainly did it in the second half against the Rams. We know the Chargers defense can do it. Want us to play smash mouth, run first football? That's what Jim Harbaugh wants to do and has done throughout his career. It's what the Eagles want to do and want to let our quarterback drop back and sling it around 30 times. We know Herbert has done it so far this year. The Eagles did it for the first time second half this game. And by the way, nice little special teams for the Eagles at least as well with the block kick. Can win anyway. And back atop their rightful place in the month of September, the 4-time defending
They are good.
September champion Buffalo Bills. Nothing there is you can set your watch to it being all of a sudden you're in Home Goods and you're like, is that a skeleton? Are there the Halloween decorations? And hearing your local talk radio discuss the Bills being the best team in football. They have been the best team. They are the September champs once again, displacing the fake September champions, Green Bay Packers. Those are, Greg, the Week 4 tiers.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get straight to it. The Eagles need to be on top of the tiers.
Oh, that's nice.
Look, we can't do this every single time we watch the Eagles. And Wild, you kind of spoke to this earlier this week. Like, just because we don't like how it looks when they play, we question what they are. And what we can't do is question what they are. They are the champs. They deserve to be on top, regardless of how it looks. And it's funny that you have a reference to boxing in here, no Terrence Crawford, because I kind of liken the Eagles to Pretty Boy Floyd last year and Money May. Pretty Boy Floyd can beat you. He gonna throw them punches. It's gonna look good. He might take a couple hits, but you better believe he gonna knock you out. Money May, you can't hit him. As a fan, you really want to see the Pretty Boy Floyd come out, but that's not how he's fighting anymore. It's whatever it takes. I'm calculated. I'm going to win in a different way that is not appeasing to everyone outside of our locker room. Sometimes it's not even appeasing to me until I get that win, and then we're all good. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. And when you look at their resume right now and who they've played versus the Buffalo Bills, you can kind of question, you played the Ravens, they give up everything you want defensively. Okay, great. Then you played the Dolphins and you played the Jets. Both teams giving up whatever you want. So who are the Buffalo Bills? Even when we look at them defensively, offensively, I'll give you that. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they're pretty buttoned up. And you just get a sense that they're going to get better even as the season progresses. And they've shown that if we need to do it a different way, we can. But don't knock me for how I'm winning.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well done.
Greg, it's a compelling case. It's a great case. I wish you could make this case to the person who every other week was sitting in that seat when we were doing tiers, Greg Jennings, last year when the undefeated but kind of winning ugly Chiefs were atop the tiers, and you consistently told me they couldn't stay there, that it was a new season,
This is exactly why I'm making my case. Because
you convinced me.
For some odd
you made such a compelling case over the course of last year.
For some odd reason,
I was like,
the committee this year wants to knock a team because of the way it looks.
Because the committee watched all the segments. They were like, we don't want Greg Jennings yelling at us again. We're like, Greg Jennings is going to come on and be like, no,
they thought it was resilience. They thought it was pedigree.
They won with a blocked field goal. Should that even count?
Matter of fact, everyone in Philly, just relax. They're practicing. That's what the Eagles are doing.
See, that's another great take. You guys bringing back all the hits.
Serious point.
Go ahead, bro.
Look, I like Baker as much as the next man. I've been enjoying the comeback victories, the rallies. But drop the Buccaneers 2 tiers.
Wow.
All right, and they don't fit the no Terrence Crawford, all that stuff. But they need to drop 2 tiers. And here's why. And I'm glad Greg brought up the schedule.
So not the standings?
No, I'm just saying they don't. Nick is often, his titles are always great. But sometimes the teams don't fit the title.
He's got to give credit.
So I'm dropping them 2 tiers because, Nick, they have beaten 2 objectively bad teams by a total of, 3 points?
The Texans and
No. Atlanta
Yeah.
by 3 and the Jets by 2. So 5 points. Then they beat a possibly bad team in Houston by a point. All right, so you shouldn't need Baker's heroics to beat 3 teams that have a combined record of 1-8. 1-8.
Well, 3 of those
while the
losses are
Chiefs
against-
and the Ravens have played murderer's row, the Buccaneers have had cakewalks. Should be. I mean, Atlanta, I thought that was a good win, but Carolina just, 30-0 to Bryce Young. And here's the other thing, even despite playing the easy schedule, Tampa Bay is not in the top 15 in scoring defense. They're not in the top 10 in total defense. They're not in the top 10 in scoring offense or total offense.
You know where they are in the top 10? Guts. Yeah,
Maybe.
Kyle.
I mean,
they're gutsy against the chunk
so listen,
change.
here
Let's
is-
see. We're going to find out this weekend.
So here is my defense of the Bucs, because it is not the standing, so being undefeated does not guarantee that to you. I think no matter who had the Bucs schedule, if they had been dealing with the injuries the Bucs have dealt with on their offensive line, no Tristan Wirfs all year, then lost their right tackle, then lost a guard, haven't had Godwin, Evans went out, they lost Kalijah Cansey for the season, sadly, early. I think they would have found ways to lose. I think the fact that Tampa has been able to overcome cluster injuries at the offensive line and find a way to win these games, to me, makes me even more bullish about how they're going to be when they get full strength. And obviously, Cansey's not coming back, but everybody else could.
I'm with that. That's why I didn't really talk about the Bucs. And it makes it more impressive that, you know what, regardless and despite all of that, our quarterback can still get it done.
Mahomes is without his 2 best receivers against top-notch competition.
You know what?
You poo-poo Baltimore's defensive losses, but Nnamdi is not getting run over like.
I didn't poo-poo it, but they.
No, I'm saying Greg did.
No, but
that's a loss.
The problem is, but Nnamdi was there week 1 when they allowed 4. Yeah, when they.
No, well, they didn't get run over by Cleveland, but Buffalo is a great team, and Detroit is not just mopping up their defensive line if Nnamdi's there.
Sure.
So I'm just saying.
Granted, the Patriots are 1-2.
You're not doing the Pats here, are you?
Well, I don't know. How many 1-2 teams can we talk about? Can I talk about my favorite 1-2 team? I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, we're 1-2. We're not bad. The Patriots are bad. They're 1-2. Like a lot of 1-2 teams. Okay? Like the Panthers. 1-2. I'm not saying, hey, turning around. I'm saying the Patriots are fixable bad. Okay? You ever see a makeover show? No. Someone comes out there like, ugh.
Well, what do they come out there like?
Some of these fictitious people are not good-looking people. Okay? And they give them a new haircut, put him in a suit, and you're like, I don't know. Sometimes, diamond in the rough. Just got a bad haircut and a bad outfit. Boom. That's the Patriots. Fixable bad. Why? We got 3rd most penalties. Hey, stop getting penalized. Hello.
You know who has the most penalties by a lot? The Titans. Usually a sign of bad coaching.
Okay, that's fair. Only the Bengals have turned the ball over more. Hold on to the ball. I'm not talking about great. I'm talking about simple haircut. Part your hair from this way to that way. Sometimes that works. You ever seen that one? Okay, Drake May. Actually good. The same reason that we believe in a lot of the 1-2 teams. Do they have a good quarterback? The answer is yes. Drake May is actually playing well. Some of the advanced statistics, the one with the graph that goes that way, Drake May's up there. I still don't understand it. Nobody does, but it's like I want to be up in that top left corner.
That way.
Patriots defense. Last year we couldn't stop the run at all. So what did we do? We got Spillane, kind of Vrabel remade the defense. Guess what? Pretty good. Second lowest yards per rush, obviously yards per game, and no one's really breaking long runs. Great. So is the future bright or not? Remember, just like the 49ers have the easiest schedule, Patriots have the 2nd easiest schedule. Coming up, scoring offense ranked. Panthers are 19th. The Bills are 4th. Then we're on easy street. We got 2 eliminated teams, the Browns and the Falcons. So if you want to buy stock in the Patriots, we start holding on to the ball, stop getting penalized. Christian Gonzalez comes back.
Here, all right. Leave that up
Just
for a
saying,
second.
fixable
That is
bad.
a light schedule.
That is a light schedule.
Fixable bad.
Do you know what is happening right now in New Orleans, Tennessee, and Cleveland
they're
on
circling the
talk
Patriots.
radio, where they're like, New Orleans is like, if we can't beat New England,
No, people
we're
are like,
gonna
oh,
lose
they're
them
like,
all.
oh, they're bad. They're
Tennessee's
fixable
like
bad.
and so
I want to join
hold
the
on.
fixable bad group. I don't want to be on the outside looking in. You're like, the
there is
Ravens
no-
have the worst defense. They're going to fix it.
What do you mean? Where's the fixable bad group? That wasn't a tier.
He's saying that's the
A lot
Chiefs
of these
the
1 and 2
Ravens.
teams are
Chiefs and the
fixable
Ravens,
bad.
just say it.
Once Rasheed Rice comes back, boom. We act like Rasheed Rice is Jerry Rice. sometimes.
Right.
Like if Rasheed Rice,
You are right about
we
that.
think Rasheed
He hasn't
Rice.
played in like a year.
Oh, he's
Year and a half,
gonna
whatever it is.
be Jamar Chase out
Hold
there.
on. Can I? Hold on. Buddy.
That's a good point. Juan.
We go over the
Well, that's
moon.
a separate topic. Too.
I know, I wasn't even talking about it.
The Patriots, other than Drake May,
Yeah.
and this was the concern going into the year, who is the guy who touches the ball who's good?
Look.
Say Travion.
You know, he can't.
He
They
was
won't
the guy
say
in the
Travion
Patriots.
doesn't touch
don't-
the ball.
they don't
Ramondre
play-
fumbles
they don't
the ball.
play Travion.
Diggs can't get open. Yeah, Tyquan Thornton's
Diggs
good. You guys
doesn't-
spent a second round pick on him.
Tyquan
Where's he
Thornton.
now?
I'm rooting for Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah. You
But-
don't have good. You need more good players.
No, we don't. We're fine.
Okay.
We got Drake May. We're
Okay.
We're okay. Coming up next, Joel Klatt makes his 425 hit. Is Arch, or has he turned the corner? We discuss. And a big moon game. Can the Illini bounce back? And should Brett Bielema come back to Wisconsin? Start your Saturday strong. Number 21, USC. Number 23, Illinois. All goes down live from Champaign. Big noon kickoff, 10 a.m. Eastern. Then it's Trojans Illini on Fox. Joel Klatt will be on the call. He joins us now. So we're going to break down that game in a second. But we're starting with the guy that we started with last week. You were very confident that Arch would figure it out if he could figure out his timing and his footwork. Well, it looks like he did. Went to Sam Houston State 309, 3 touchdowns, ran for 2, and also taunted an opponent. Do you think Arch turned the corner here?
Yeah, I think that during our conversation last week, we talked about that I thought it would just click at some point. This timing, element of is he ahead of the offense? Is he behind the offense? And at some point, you feel it and you get, not in the actual passing pocket, but in the pocket of the timing of the offense. And that's when you start to get comfortable as a quarterback. And I felt like he was much more comfortable against Sam Houston. Now, granted, it's against Sam Houston, so as the play competition increases, can he maintain that level of comfort and timing, not only within the pocket, but just in his overall play? He was a lot better. And I still maintain that he will become a very good quarterback. And I think at some point this year, he's going to be an elite quarterback, but he had to go through some growing pains, and that's okay. And I got all animated last week about facing that and going through adversity and why that's good for a player. Let's just put it this way. I think Arch will be better because of these early struggles in the long run. And maybe the first step of that was the Sam Houston game last week.
And so just one more follow-up there, because they're off this week, and then obviously just a massive 2-game stretch. I know Florida's lost 3 games. I think Florida's good, or at least, and certainly playing in the swamp.
Good in what sense? Like 1 and 3 good?
No,
Or
well, listen, I think that Florida, despite their record, is certainly the best team Texas will have played since Ohio State. It's better than the 3 games since then.
Sure.
And I think that part of Arch's struggles
I know.
in week 1.
I'm giving you grief, and their defense is not bad, by the way.
Well, so,
Florida's defense is not a bad defense.
So that's my question. How much will we learn with not only playing that defense, but again being in a crazy environment, being in the swamp in that game when we saw how tough Ohio State was in kind of an impossible spot? To me, and then that leads into the Red River Shootout.
Yeah. So the first thing that I would do is, if I was Steve Sarkisian, I would make sure I would game plan an easy completion early. from the pocket, an easy completion, because it's almost like a shooter seeing a free throw go in. You start to calm down and everything slows down for you. You're like, okay, I'm in the game and I'm in the rhythm of the game. I think that would really help, and I think it would help Sark. That doesn't mean that you have to get him on the move. A lot of times coaches will say, well, we're going to get him an easy throw and get him outside of the pocket on the move. See, I felt differently when I played, and a lot of guys that I talked to feel the same way. They want to feel the rhythm of the in-pocket passing game. Get me a completion. Scheme something up early in the game where I can be in rhythm and throw in the pocket, and now I've got the feel. So I would look for that early in that game against Florida, and I think that would help Arch out. He never got that opportunity against Ohio State, and because of that, he never really got comfortable until late in the game when they had to air it out to try to come back down a couple of scores. So game plan can certainly help it out. They also, I think that they need to start going back to the movement and motion that made this offense so dangerous when Steve Sarkisian was at Alabama in 2020 as the offensive coordinator. So before the year, let me go backwards before I go forwards. Before the year, I thought that Texas would make the shift just like Alabama did in 2019 with Tua. They were an RPO-based system with his quick hands and quick release, and all the RPOs were more over the middle of the field. And then with Mac Jones, he was a different style quarterback that they wanted to throw the ball down the field and use some of those RPOs, but outside of the numbers, and then use the motion and movement in order to get guys the matchups necessary, like Devontae Smith, to go for 1,000,000 yards in Ohio State in the national championship game. I think I want to see more out of that movement and motion, the deception, and putting conflict on the defender's eyes from the game plan. And I think Steve and the offensive staff can help him do that as the competition rises, because Florida's a very good defense, and that environment's going to be hard, even though South Florida took care of that just fine. And then, Red River is going to be difficult. It becomes much easier without John Mateer. If you haven't heard John Mateer, the quarterback for Oklahoma, broke his hand, he will be out. But OU's defense is good. They just sacked Jackson Arnold in Auburn 10 times. So all of those things from a game plan, being comfortable, getting in rhythm, I think all of that should be on the table.
So Mateer is out. How do you think that affects the Heisman odds now? He's still, let's see where he is.
Well,
he fell totally out.
Yeah, he's out because
you can't make the club in the tub, and you certainly can't join Club Heisman in the tub. So.
So it's Mendoza's number one now, Moore 2, Carson Beck at 3. Who do you like here?
Well, Dante Moore's got a great chance this weekend. And so I've always thought that you need performances, yes, but you need stages. So you need the right performance on the right stage. Well, Dante Moore's going to have that opportunity on Saturday as they go into the whiteout and face Penn State. So that'll be interesting. Mendoza still has some big games. Beck, obviously, Florida State in a couple of weeks. Stockton against Alabama this week. Joey Aguilar, unfortunately, unless Tennessee is just better than Georgia or beats Georgia down the line in an SEC championship game, he will have lost the head-to-head to Stockton. And then the sleeper on that list is Jeremiah Smith, because if he continues to just go out and have 100-yard game after 100-yard game, it'll be tough to keep him out of New York. Another guy that I would just throw up there, Jaden Maiava at USC is playing incredible football right now. And if they're as good as I think they are, and they continue to rise up the rankings and play big, meaningful games, maybe beat Michigan, maybe beat Notre Dame, Jaden Maiava will be on that list as well.
Oh, you mentioned some of the big games USC has coming up. What about, this weekend, Illinois? Are they on upset alert?
It's hard because Illinois just got beat by Indiana so handily, 63-10. And part of that was that their secondary was decimated in the second half. In fact, they didn't have a starter on the field in the secondary in the second half. He had a concussion protocol, a couple of ankles, a targeting call from the first half. So they were decimated, and that score got away from them. They're certainly a better team than a 63-10 outcome on the road last week against Indiana. The tough part, though, is that defensively, they really struggle when they face balance. That's exactly what they saw last week with Indiana, a team that could run the football well and throw the football well. That's exactly what USC is going to bring to the table. In fact, if you look at USC, they're the number one offense in the country as it relates to yards per play, over 9 yards per play. They're top 5 in rushing yards per carry, top 5 in passing yards per attempt. This is a really balanced and explosive offense, and I think it's going to give Illinois some trouble.
All right, Joel, this is one of, games of the year. Oregon, Penn State, you alluded to it.
Yeah.
To me, I know that in the new college football world, it can be a game of the year, but you can lose it and be totally fine. I get that.
Sure.
And I also think James Franklin is a really good coach. I can't get over some of these numbers. They're 1-15 against top 5 teams. Now, I understand Oregon's outside of the top 5, but they're top 5 adjacent.
They're right there. Yeah, they're right there.
4-20 against top 10 teams. I know it's hard to beat great teams, but you are a great team. You're Penn State. Am I reading too much into that? Your takeaway on what is seemingly an impossible record against your really contemporaries?
It's actually worse than what you've stated.
Okay.
Because some of those are group of 5 teams that wound up in the top 10, like Boise last year in the playoff. Well, none of us would have thought Boise was equal talent to Penn State. Well, that counts as one of those top 10 wins, right? So that's one of those 4. Utah in the Rose Bowl, that was a meaningless Rose Bowl at the time outside of the playoff a couple of years ago. That's one of those 4. If you actually look at regular season games versus top 10 opponents, they are 0 for their last 14, dating back to 2016. Wow. So something is going wrong in these moments. And while I don't think it's ever just one thing, here's a theory. The theory, at least of late in the last few years, is the fact that they don't have enough balance. And when you don't have balance, offensively I'm talking about, you don't have answers. Because when you get against great teams, they will take away something. And generally, they're going to try to take away what you're best at. And Penn State has been an incredible rushing team and have struggled in these matchup games throwing the football. Last year against Notre Dame in the national semifinal, they had 0 catches from wide receivers. Boggles your mind. 0 catches from wide receivers. Early this year, I thought we would see a better passing game, and we haven't seen that yet. So what Penn State fans would be banking on is something that we haven't seen yet, which is that this passing game becomes much better. The one thing that I would lean on if I was Penn State is the fact that Oregon, their one weakness on their entire team is their rush defense. So if you can run the football and establish that line of scrimmage, I think that they might be able to get this victory. It will be tough, though, and they're going to have to do something that we have not seen them do before, which is rise up and level up in one of these games. They're at home. They have the veteran roster. They're facing a guy in Dante Moore that's making his real first true big game road start. They're facing a team that had to replace 18 starters. You have to win this game if you're Penn State. All of the pressure is on James Franklin and Penn State because Oregon is sitting there thinking to themselves, hey, we're walking around like we own this conference. We beat Ohio State in the regular season last year. No one's beat us in the Big Ten in the regular season. And since they got into that league, they beat Michigan on the road. They beat Ohio State on the road the last time they had to go to Columbus under Mario Cristobal a few years ago when they were still in the Pac-12. They won the Big Ten a year ago. They're playing with house money here, and I think that's a dangerous team. A talented young team with a lot of confidence with nothing to lose is a dangerous team. So that's where the game is won and lost, though. If Penn State can establish the run, then they got a good chance to win.
I'm betting Oregon. Getting points against James
Well, they're
Franklin?
getting 3.5.
I know.
They're getting 3.5. It's like if you tell me I can take 3.5 with Oregon.
Oregon plus 3.5.
Because I could see a classic.
Roll it over
right?
on the Chiefs plus 2.5. Come on. Let's make some money.
Chiefs are getting 2.5.
Exactly.
By the way, Georgia's only giving 2.5 to Alabama, who is terrible on the road.
Oh,
what?
Oregon, Georgia, Chiefs parlay? Come on, Joel. Let's do it. Lock it in, buddy. You and me. Yeah, there we go.
USC at Illinois, big noon kickoff. Thank you, Joel. We'll see you next week.
Joel.
Yeah, you bet, fellas. Have a great day.
You too. More first things first after the break. Tomorrow's the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List. Brew, is anyone percolating around the Bud List?
Well, look, I'm actually thinking about putting an entire team on the Bud List.
Unprecedented.
I'll let you guess.
The Ravens. He wants to
We'll see.
everything possible.
I mean, the Bud List is magic. Who was on the top last week?
No way to tell.
I can't remember who was number one.
Dak.
He probably balled out.
Was it Dak? Micah?
Yeah, Dak
I don't know.
was
Who
on
knows?
Canelo?
No.
Well, I had both Canelo
Tua.
and Crawford on there.
Tua. Night of the game.
Yeah,
How'd that work out?
great
for him?
last
Yeah,
week.
that wasn't.
Tua, Dak, they were both on it.
Prime Performance, sponsored by Whole Foods Market.
I'll
Discover
put the-
all
maybe I'll
the
put the
ways you
Chiefs
can
on
save.
it.
Jake Browning was on it, bro. And he threw
Maybe
three
I'll put the
picks.
Chiefs
Yeah.
on there.
He was on. Since losing to the Bucs, Jalen Hurts has won 17 straight games he has started and finished when he wasn't concussed, because he didn't finish several of those games because he was benched, like the Super Bowl, for example. He was just hanging out. But Tampa Bay has been his kryptonite. Versus the Bucs in his career, 1-4 versus everybody else, 54-19. Has 6 turnovers to 9 touchdowns against the Bucs. Yep. That's not a good ratio.
No.
They're expecting a huge bounce back game from Jalen against his kryptonite.
Listen, I think he'll have his biggest first half of the season.
Well, that's interesting.
I think they're going to open it up a bit. I just think that it's one thing when A.J. Brown's a little frustrated. I think Jalen got frustrated. I think we saw it during the game, and I think we also saw it after the game when his post-game press conference. Again, he was super professional and everything, but he made it clear, like, we can do this, guys.
Yep.
And what they were doing wasn't working. I know, like, their game plan against the Rams was bad. They overcame it because Jalen was excellent. So, yeah, I think they're going to have a happier game this weekend than we've seen.
Well, look, Tampa Bay's been good against the run, too. And I would love to see Saquon bust out, but I think they're going to do a pretty good job of corralling him. And they're going to your point, they're going to have to throw it. I don't think he's going to have like a humongous game, 300 yards or anything like that, but I think he will have a very good game.
No Mike Evans, Chris Godwin at practice, so he might play.
Yeah.
Not sure. First things first, overtime coming up at 5. Live from New York. It's a show that just lost some sort of social media trivia.
This guy is in shambles.
I mean, the video hasn't come out yet. Through the power of editing, maybe it was going to be close.
What was the trivia contest?
The 6 teams in the 4 major American sports that have names in other sports. So, like the New York Rangers, Texas Rangers.
Gotcha.
The one he forgot, the Kings. This guy forgot about the Sacramento Kings.
Danny, I got to be honest.
Yeah.
You dropped a notch in my eye.
Wow!
The Kings?
The Kings?
That should have been like the first one.
Well, no, the Giants are the first.
Yeah, the Giants. are the
Either
first
one.
one
I mean,
said.
I'm
Rangers
just saying
are
the
again.
Kings was
The Kings would be the last one.
Thank you.
Really?
Well, there's 6 of them. I don't
The
think you get all
last
6,
one?
to be fair.
I would definitely get it.
Okay, we're not going to do this now.
Rangers, Kings, Giants,
Yeah.
Avalanche.
Is
Is there a bird one? Is there a bird one?
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah. It's a fun game.
Oh, Winnipeg Jets I was supposed to get? I would never get it.
I told you,
I'm
you
saying.
wouldn't get it.
It's a
Winnipeg?
That was an easy one.
Winnipeg
Sometimes your trivia is hard.
You
but
would have
that
gotten
was-
Winnipeg Jets.
I'm just shook. We need to start doing
There's
that
one
after
other
the
one
show.
you guys still haven't gotten, which is the Panthers.
Yeah. Enough with this hockey stuff.
I know,
Thank
exactly.
you.
Enough,
Thank
Gianna.
you.
We are not league partners. We got to stop this.
Thank you.
You know why? Because Gianna is a sneaky hockey fan.
I know. I know. Everyone's got their flaws.
What's on the line for the Chiefs if they lose in this game? We're going to discuss. And there's fresh new sound. The Chiefs spoke today. Wait till you hear this stuff. Yeah. Meanwhile, Mike Tomlin gave Rodgers 2 thumbs up, even though Rodgers himself said, I wasn't that good. But we'll see how they do as they go across the pond to face the Vikings. But right now, Ravens and Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes, 5-1 against Lamar in his career. He spoke to the media today. Take a listen.
I know that you saw Monday night at the Ravens, but they're a prideful group, man. I don't think they're going to be very happy with the film, and they're going to come out with the mentality of stopping the run. So it'll be a great test for us. And so it'll be able to go up there and be able to run the football and then be able to pass off of it will be important to us. Stay balanced and go up against a team that's going to be as hungry as we are. So it'll be a great football game this weekend.
What is on the line for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Flip the whole season. They can make it to where the prestige team, preseason Super Bowl favorite-ish team that is in disarray, that we're worried about, that all the shows are focusing on, is Baltimore. They can all of a sudden not only steady themselves, but get a bit of their swagger back for the first time since they walked off the field in the AFC Championship game. And they can also, in my opinion, further the confidence gap between Patrick and Lamar and the Chiefs and the Ravens if they meet again in the playoffs. Because when the resume right now, head-to-head, looks like this, and it is so one-sided in all of the categories, and Lamar, who, as Danny pointed out, as the broadcast pointed out, has the highest passer rating in the history of the league, has an 81 rating, and, almost 1-to-1 touchdown turnover ratio, that is a real big brother, little brother situation that is developing. And so I think I'm looking at it from a positive perspective of what they can gain by winning this football game.
So if the Chiefs lose, they're probably fine. We'll probably all still come in here and say they're going to go to the playoffs.
KW is going to say they're the Panthers.
I'm not going to say
you're the
they're
one
the
of the three
Panthers.
teams.
I'm a little bit
concerned.
more concerned than everybody else.
Sure, and I think that reasonable minds can disagree there, but I think most people will still say the Chiefs will figure it out, they will be fine. But I'm wondering, in the offseason, there was a lot of talk out of Kansas City. They're going to throw deep again. When's the light show going to come back? And we have spent a lot of time on this show talking about teams' offenses against other teams' defenses. Like, you expected Caleb to have a big game because he was playing Dallas's defense.
Yes.
And we judge it by the opponents. You would agree that the Ravens' defense so far has not been good.
Correct.
Right? They are averaging to their opponents. They're allowing more than 400 yards a game and more than 30 points per game. Now, it's through 3 weeks, and they played Buffalo and they played Detroit, 2 great offenses. But if Worthy is going to be back, and this is a flip the script type of season game for the Chiefs, when can we expect the Chiefs' offense to be good?
Yeah.
Because it has been over 700 days since the Chiefs have had a game with more than 30 points and more than 400 yards. It is the 4th longest drought of any team in the NFL. And so I'm not saying they are the Titans or the Patriots. I understand why they get the benefit of the doubt because they keep winning. But I am curious, if the offense struggles against a bad defense,
hold on, are you
when
saying,
do we start talking about that
just
for the
real
Chiefs?
quick before you go, Brew, I want to make sure I understand. Are you saying that's going to be, if they win but don't score a lot of points, it's you won, but?
I don't think anybody will do that. But my point is, we should hold them to the standard that we hold all of these other teams to when they play bad defenses. If Worthy is back and they have Mahomes and they're familiar with the Ravens and they have Andy Reid, shouldn't we expect the Chiefs' offense to be good?
Listen, I think that the Ravens' problem on defense in the Detroit game was primarily against the run, and I'm telling you right now, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to take advantage.
Well either.
But to me, that was a game of Detroit. What'd they run for? 230?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That was
both ways, though.
I don't think the Chiefs can take advantage of that there. But if we are, I guess what I would say is this: I am not yet lumping the Ravens' defense into the category of the unredeemables.
Cowboys.
You know what I mean? I know they have been bad, but fair. If they are the Cowboys defensively, that's just who they're going to be week in, week out, then they're done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then they're not a contender, and I still view them as a contender.
But the good teams, and we all think the Chiefs are a good team, the good teams have lit up the Ravens.
So what are you saying you need to see from the Chiefs?
I want to see the offense with Worthy back have a pulse. I'm not expecting them to have 30-plus points, but I don't want them to be 3.5 yards per carry, grinding out 16-play field goal drives. They should be better than what Cleveland was against them in week 2. Somewhere between Detroit and Cleveland. Is that reasonable for the Chiefs offense? Because I agree with what you said yesterday. As long as Mahomes is on the Chiefs, you give them the benefit of the doubt that they'll figure it out eventually. This feels like a pretty good opportunity to figure it out.
No, that's fair. I think what's on the line for them, one of the things is the mystique. They don't have the mystique anymore against Philly. We know Philly's not scared of them. Cincinnati's not a factor anymore. But Buffalo, of course, they've been beating them in the playoffs. But I feel like Buffalo thinks they could beat the Chiefs. But they do have it over the Ravens. And now the Ravens are down. So this is a chance, like you said, to kind of make it even worse. But if the Ravens go in there and beat them, coming off a bad loss, they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, now I think if they were to meet in the playoffs, the Ravens would feel very confident about their chance of beating them. So I think that kind of mystique would be gone there. And if the Chiefs lose again, this would be the second straight loss at home. Like Wilds, we talked earlier, we were talking about like Mahomes would never lose at home, especially 2 games in a row. And so that kind of becomes a problem.
As an underdog, he wouldn't even lose.
Yeah, and I think that
underdog at home twice. He's lost both.
Well, and he's lost both.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. He's never an underdog.
Correct. He was an
That's the
underdog
weird
twice at home, Buffalo 4 years ago and a couple weeks ago, and they've actually lost both the games. But it never otherwise doesn't happen.
I think it would. Obviously, the Chiefs would still be viewed as a playoff team and all that. But it would put into question, okay, how good are they? Are they legitimately a team that could get back to the Super Bowl? When you look at it, would have been 3 losses to the good teams they've played. And then that Giants win, like you said, that's a terrible defense, and they didn't light them up.
So hold on. I disagree. I just want to be on the record here. I do not think the Giants have a terrible defense.
They gave up 40 to the Cowboys.
I understand they played terribly in week 2 defensively. I just want to be on the record that I think when we have more data about team defenses
may get
this
better,
year,
but now it hasn't been a good defense. And I agree. I don't think it's terrible because you got some good talent, but it's not playing well.
Again, like it was terrible in week 2, Brew. I thought the Giants defense was fine in week 1. I thought they were good in week 3. I thought the Chiefs were awful offensively in that first half. Awful. It was the biggest play of the Chiefs offense was the quarterback stripping a Giants defender of the ball, otherwise known as the tackle that turned the tide. But still, my question is this. If the Chiefs win the game, is there going to be we probably overreacted a bit to a 3-point loss to Philadelphia? Because that's like losing week 1 against the Chargers in a Brazil game against a Charger team. Like they were the favorites.
But that was a bit surprising.
It was surprising to me. I picked the Chiefs to win the game. But what really the 5-alarm fire was, they're now 0-2. The 0-2. They've never started 0-2.
I think the more surprising loss was the Chargers.
Well, maybe, but I'm saying it was the putting the spotlight on is, the what's wrong with the Chiefs? Are the Chargers the class of the division? Are they even in the Bills and Ravens class? All of that happened once they got to 0-2. If they win this game, are we back to a place of, they're fine? Because for me, they will be.
Yeah.
And I'm
for the most part, I think there'll be see how it happens, but there could be more questions now about the Ravens.
Well,
so
I
depending
think that
on how
would be
it
fair.
looks.
Yeah, I think there will be. Listen, I think both of these teams are overwhelmingly likely to play in January, right? I think most people, the odds, everything would say that. The Chiefs, if they lose though, and they're 4 games into the season, and their 1 win is against the Giants, and Worthy has returned, then where do you get to turn and say okay, Rashee Rice solves all of our problems?
Right. And I guess my point is the exact same. Whoever loses this game, you should say that about, because if the Ravens lose, and the 1 win is against the Browns, and we're saying, Kyle Van Noy or whomever solves all our problems,
I agree with that.
And so if that's where we're at, kind of narratively going into the game, I think that's fair. If it's that whoever loses this game because of who they are and who their quarterback is, you're not writing them off, but there will be real concern. It feels to me like and it felt to me this week that the Ravens, oddly, and the odds, by the way, back it up, have a bigger benefit of the doubt than the Chiefs do. And that, to me, is weird. And, I mean, you said Monday, you loved the Ravens plus 2.5.
Well, minus 2.5.
I'm sorry.
Well, listen, we've seen the Ravens look excellent offensively against the Bills and against the Lions. I haven't seen the Chiefs look excellent offensively yet.
No, you're seeing them look good defensively, not excellent offense.
Yeah, and I'll trust the offense over the defense at that point. I expect the Ravens to win this game.
Wilds, what wins championships?
Defense wins championships, but it's not defense wins week 4.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. Trade
Try to do that. That one's open.
No. Tackle the turn the tide. I'm putting all my eggs
Offense
in that
wins
basket.
week 4.
Caleb, coming off one of the best games of his career, 4 touchdowns, wasn't sacked, named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for the first time in his career. Pete Carroll will be ready for the Bears. Take a listen.
I don't know if they're ready for the monsters of the midway kind of thing yet, but they're darn good, and this game is going to give them a great shot in the arm. You know, with the new program, they finally get their win and get rolling. They'll be at their best this week.
Microphones just have no relevance. Size, is it this big? Is it this big? No one knows. Are you expecting another monster game from Caleb here against the Raiders?
I am, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. And I can point to like the Raiders defense the last 2 weeks has been bad, and Caleb has feasted on bad defenses both against the Cowboys last week and against the bad defenses he played last year. I can make the numerical argument for you guys, but you mentioned there that today, a couple hours ago, Caleb Williams was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And that it's the first time that he's done it. It's not the biggest accomplishment in the world. But I just wanted to play you guys a clip because this has come out since you guys have been on the air. Ben Johnson met the media.
Oh, wow.
And Ben Johnson kind of gave us a little bit of insight into how Caleb reacted to receiving this award. Take a listen.
Can't wait for this.
Kudos to him. You know, he won Offensive Player of the Week there for the NFC, and he came in today and completely unfazed by it. You know, I tried to recognize him in front of the group, and he wasn't having it. You know, it's very stoic, and he's already on to the next game. He knows he needs to have an even better performance here this week to give us the best chance to win.
Back-to-back Offensive Player of the Week on the board, Wilds? I think it is. Locked in.
Brew, how did that land?
Locked in.
Ben?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. How did it land for you? You're the only one reacting to it.
You don't like that?
That he was stoic?
Oh, yeah, locked in.
Because he got Offensive Player of the Week. What was he expecting?
I'll just say thank you, a little speech, a little congratulations.
You give a speech?
Just, you know,
for winning. First of all, I'm sorry because I don't even know, do you actually get a piece of hardware or is it just like a text message? Do you actually even get any?
Hold on.
And J.J. McCarthy, I don't even know who won week 2.
No, we do know because we made a big deal about it. Because it was everyone who played the Bears.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
We made a big, it was J.J. McCarthy, Jared Goff, and Caleb Williams.
Now Caleb Williams. Yeah. Now it's just a Bear.
I mean, congratulations.
Thank you.
I say it totally sarcastically.
I'll take
you guys are so hungry and thirsty for any sort of acknowledgement.
That's right.
It's like our show. Like if we win one tiny Webby award, we would have it up.
Did we win an award?
No, not yet.
No. I didn't even get nominated.
Are you black? Have you heard?
Mr. Beast, here we go.
That's weird. I think that's
by me or by Ben Johnson and Caleb.
I think it's weird. I don't even think it deserves a mention. I think it's odd.
Wait, what do you mean?
It doesn't deserve a mention that you
I'm confused.
I mentioned it, but I'm surprised. Like, man, he walked in here stoic.
Hold on. I don't know if you heard what he said. He said that at the team meeting, he tried to.
Ben Johnson.
Like Ben Johnson tried to basically acknowledge Caleb in front of the group for winning Offensive Player of the Week, and that Caleb basically brushed it off. Like, of course he would mention in front of the...
I wouldn't think that there would be any other behavior.
Okay, all right.
What do you want?
I liked it.
Well, you popping bottles, have like the ladies come in with the sparklers.
You can't stand Ben Johnson.
No, I don't know what the standard response is.
Evidently, I don't know. I guess Ben Johnson was.
Hey, you got an offensive player. Oh yeah, let's go. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Round of applause, tip of the cap, thanks to the offensive line. But no, he's locked in on the Raiders.
Well, I don't know.
Big game coming.
Maybe.
Since he's locked, he needs to have a big game. You'd hate to see him take a step back. And last week against Nick's Raiders, Marcus Mariota, first start in 3 years, Miles, goes out there and cooks. 15 for 21, 118 passer rating, just one touchdown. But still, if you can't, Marcus Mariota can go cook, but you can't, he needs to go cook. I'm not saying do what he did last week, but he should have a good game. It would be very disappointing if he plays poorly, and he doesn't have to have an awesome game, but don't play poorly and have a step back.
Listen, I've said it before the last game. They needed to go 2-0 in this stretch. Like, it's a bigger game for the team than for Caleb.
Yep.
That's correct. This is we didn't do it in must win, but this is a definitional must win for the Bears. You win this.
And for your Raiders.
I understand, but we're not talking about the Raiders right now. They need to start blocking people. Yeah. If the Bears win this game, they go into their bye week live. Go into their bye week, we're 2-2. We steadied ourselves. We had that embarrassing week 2 loss, and then, you know what I mean, we got right, and now we have
felt like they should have beat the Vikings in week 1.
Right. We had that. We had week 1, we blew it. Week 2, we get annihilated by Detroit. We feel a little less bad about that psychologically because we just saw Detroit run all over Baltimore. True. We then beat Dallas, beat the Raiders, and then extra week to prepare for a team that I think, if the Bears, which I think they do, have playoff hopes. I picked them to make the playoffs. I think Brew did. The Commanders are going to be the type of team that is trying to kind of fighting for that same real estate. So that becomes a huge spot. You lose this game, and then it does feel like, all right, everybody gets fat and happy against the Cowboys. What did it mean? So I do think this is a huge spot for them.
Steelers in Ireland against the Vikings. Rodgers and Tomlin squeaked out a victory over the Patriots, who turned the ball over 5 times. Rodgers himself said he played poorly, but Tomlin optimistic. Take a listen.
Not only in terms of his play, but in terms of his relationship with the game, how he interacts with teammates, how he loves the preparation process. All of those things have been double thumbs up, and so it's reasonable to expect the in-stadium performance to mirror that. And so he may be disappointed with how he played last week, but we got an opportunity this week to do something about it. And just watching him day to day is not a high level of concern in terms of the outcome being what he and we desire.
Rodgers bounce back game, buying it?
Not really. I think that the Steelers need Aaron Rodgers to just be average, and at this point he's had an amazing game, he's had a bad game, he's been very inconsistent. And they're hoping for consistency from him. He's played Brian Flores once. Ironically, it was in an international game. He threw 54 times, had 3 picks, and a passer rating in the 50s. So I'm not really expecting much from Aaron Rodgers in this spot. It feels to me like the Steelers' formula is if their defense can do what it did last week.
Forced 5 turnovers? Well, that's going to be hard.
And they barely won.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So, but they spend more money on the defensive side of the ball than any team in the NFL. I was going to say, obviously not 5 turnovers every game, but the only path for them for winning is if their defense plays up to its level of.
They have the worst defense in this game, though. I think that this weekend they have the worst defense. It's also one of the only spots on the schedule where they definitely have the better quarterback because even though I'm not an Aaron Rodgers guy at this point, he's better than Carson Wentz. Right. I think that this is a dangerous spot for Aaron Rodgers.
Health-wise?
Yes.
Because he got sacked 0 times last week.
Yeah, and I think that I watched that Vikings-Bengals game probably closer than most because I might have had a little small financial investment in it. And that what they did to Jake Browning feels like they can definitely do that to Aaron Rodgers. Because at this point, I don't think stylistically Browning and Rodgers to me are similar enough as far as like if you get the ball out quick, right, that you can be accurate. And again, Rodgers is better than Jake Browning. I get that. But there's just no mobility. And I think the Steelers' offensive line has some weak spots. I think the Patriots showed it in that game. Oh, yeah. And I think this is a really, really tough spot for Pittsburgh. I like the Vikings a lot, and I think Aaron this is a game where you could see 4 or 5 sacks and another 4 or 5 quarterback hits. Like, I think that's a tough spot.
Well, look, that Minnesota defense obviously is tough, and the Steelers defense is going to have to be just as good. And you have to think they should have a good game against Carson Wentz. I get it, they have other weapons in Minnesota, but they gotta shut them down with Carson Wentz. And Rodgers, like you said, he has been very inconsistent. Obviously, if they get pressure on him, that's a problem. But they need to stack some wins. I get it. Minnesota's a very good defensive team, but they need to win some of these games.
I don't know if we can show the schedule like the same thing that I was saying this show has not been high on the Steelers. Did you have them in the playoffs?
I did, yeah.
I think you were the only one of the three of us plus Greg and Coach.
Well, I'm not so quick to concede that the Vikings defense is better than the Steelers defense. Like,
really?
Well, statistically, through a couple of games, it's been that Week 1 game against the Jets was just weird.
Except this, I don't think the Steelers defense has played well yet.
I don't think
they gave up 31 to Seattle.
They gave them 24 because of that. I just think I haven't seen it yet from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But to the point, the reason I called up the schedule was, if you picked them to go to the playoffs, it was based on, like Bruce said, starting off really well.
No question.
Not 2-2 going into the bye.
No, they have to win.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they can win this game by the Steelers defense messing up Carson Wentz. I don't know that this is necessarily Aaron Rodgers has to carry us type of game.
Coming up next, packed stats. What's the best stat in the pack?
Well, you're going to have to stay tuned.
Wow, I'll stay tuned.
I thought it was suitcase stats.
No,
you like case closed.
Case closed.
I like case closed.
It's packed stats. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for packed stats. I don't know what people with real jobs bring to work in their briefcase, but I never leave home.
Oh, okay.
Is this not a
Willie
real job?
Colon.
Is this not a real job?
No. Talking sports on television in makeup is a real job? No, it's
like
not.
my wife.
Yeah, I don't know what it is that we do around here, but we put stats in a briefcase.
Let's do it.
Give me my lights, in case you were confused that this was a real
I
job.
love the theatrics.
Stat number 1, 50-4. That is Lamar Jackson's touchdown to interception ratio in his last 20 games played. There is one quarterback in NFL history who has done that, at least 50 touchdowns and 5 or few interceptions in a 20-game stretch, and that was Greg Jennings' former teammate, Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest passers of the football, if not the greatest passer of the football in NFL history. Everyone has seen the stat going around that Lamar Jackson is now the career passer rating leader. I just don't think it can be overstated. All of the narratives that were around this guy. He's a runner. He should be a wide receiver. He's a dual threat quarterback. How will he age? Do the Ravens have to win now because he's not a passer? Man, he has just stacked great passing. And Greg, did you ever think there would be a time when Lamar Jackson, the passer, would keep the company with Aaron Rodgers?
Look, I did not to start, and I marvel at it now. I talk about his accuracy and his ability to be attentive to the details of being a quarterback and what he wanted that version of himself to look like. Credit to him, because every single season he had an opportunity to improve, and he did just that. I was one of those guys that was like, if I was a receiver, I wouldn't want to go to Lamar Jackson early in his career. Now, you look at it and it's like everybody wants to go play with that.
Everyone's eating.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely transitioned from being an explosive athlete to an elite processor. I think that's what we see right now. But what we witnessed Monday night was a mugging in the trenches. 7 sacks at home wearing the All Blacks. That's something to be concerned about. And what we saw was him take a lot of bad sacks and really try to rely on his legs instead of using them as a weapon. And what's crazy about Lamar, especially in this 11 personnel offense, which is one tight end, one running back, he likes to see these deep developing routes, right? So he can see the big ball, so he can see everything in front of him. When you speed him up and force him to make decisions on the run, that's when he becomes mortal. So that's where we kind of have to watch out how he continues to grow during the season.
It's just an unbelievable show.
Unbelievable.
50-4 over 20 games.
He's been special, man.
All the respect in the world. Speaking of special, lights, camera, stats. Number 2, please. This one's a little bit more on the negative side for an all-time great talent. And the number is 36th, as in where Saquon Barkley ranks in yards per carry this season. I came into this year expecting, because of the offensive line, because of their dedication to the running game, that Saquon Barkley had a chance to be the first back-to-back 2,000-yard rusher. People were like, it was too much usage last year. There's the Madden curse. They're going to do other things. I don't know when, and I want to defer to you guys, because it's 3 games. When is time to worry about Saquon Barkley? The Bucs' rush defense is good.
Yeah.
When is it time? If not yet, now when?
Well, I think it's too early to worry, honestly. I think it's not about panic. I think it's about the run operation and the Eagles not being predictable on early downs. And I also think it's about using Saquon in a multitude of ways. Have him in the slot, use him in motion. You can do a lot of things with him because he can do anything at the position. What's the problem with Saquon right now in his production is everybody's loading the box. They know he's the number one threat. So
Sounds like your quarterback needs to throw it open.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
But that's why Sunday's game with the Rams was important, because we saw time after time defenses say, hey, we're going to shut down Saquon. Let's see if Jalen can beat us. And what has Jalen done? He's beat them.
He just beat you.
Right.
Yeah, not now is not the time to worry. Look, last year we got spoiled because it was big run after big run, explosive run, and all those things. But early in the season, when we saw Saquon in this uniform with this offense, it was light show. It was him not only making those run impact plays, but even in the passing game. And I just think once you get a guy like this, one good game, it's like everything else just builds up, and then it's downhill.
Well, I was going to say this. Saquon has a boxer's mentality. He's going to bang the body, let your hands fall, then he'll go for the knockout. That's how he was with the Giants. That's how he is now, and that's how he's forever going to be. So I'm not worried about it.
So I just want to ask you, it's not about usage. Because like a narrative is he had too much mileage last year, and that's impacting him this year.
I agree. No. This is just about predictability, and defenses understand. If he gets going, it's over. There's nothing you can't do.
You can't let that be the reason why they beat you.
All right, see, we're giving stats and we're dispelling narratives out there. I like it. The third and final stat that I brought to work today, lights.
I do like the briefcase. I give it a hard time. I do like it.
It's hard for me to open sometimes. It's very heavy, this briefcase. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
18 and 17 for a quarterback, C.J. Stroud, that until last week, if you looked at any top 10 ranking, his name was all over it. And I would just say his production is not matching his reputation. What is 18 and 17? That is C.J. Stroud's touchdown to turnover ratio in his last 17 starts, because we included the fumbles in there. C.J. Stroud had an incredible rookie season, and it resulted in them winning a playoff game against Joe Flacco. And then he followed it up with not as impressive of a year, but a lot of people blamed it on the offensive line. And then he won another playoff game where his defense turned over Justin Herbert 4 times. And I feel like because of the playoff results, he's living on this reputation of, I'm a top 8 quarterback. I'm a top 10 quarterback. And his actual performance is not backing it up. He's making, when I'm watching the games, bad misses and bad turnovers consistently, because this is about now half of his career, the last 17 games. So to me, the production of C.J. Stroud, Greg, is just no longer matching the reputation of a top 10 guy.
Yeah, it's not. And I was one of those guys that was beating on the desk saying that he was one of the top 3 quarterbacks coming out of his rookie season.
Wow.
And he just hasn't been that. And like, to your point, we excused it last year because of all the injuries at wide receiver with Stephon Diggs, obviously Tank Dell, and even Nico Collins, all 3 of his top main targets. But this year, you're going into the season with what you have, and everyone in that building understands you just have to be a difference maker. And that's what we expect out of that position, and he just hasn't been that. So it's unfortunate, but I think I still believe in you, CJ.
You still believe in him, okay?
Yeah, I don't think the Texans have a CJ Stroud problem. I think they have a resources problem. I think when you talk about, go back to the rookie year, I got a graphic right here. He was sacked 38 times his rookie year, right? 2024, 52 times he was sacked.
Yeah.
This year, 8. So you talk about a guy right now, lack of resources, no protection, run game, blah, tight end depth, yuck. So at the end of the day, this man is shouldering all this, and because of the missed throws, the bad mechanics, and watching him look unhinged in a pocket, that's a result of not having anybody he can lean on while trying to run a new offense with Nick Kelly.
A lot of those sacks are CJ.
That's exactly what I was asking.
He holds on to that ball, and he has to be able to get rid of the ball, especially when you know that this is not your strength up front. Like, we all know that. You know that more even so than we do.
Right.
And so you have to understand, where are my outlets, get the ball out of my hand, get the ball into my playmaker's hands. And something's just not right. I think he's lost confidence,
to be honest. I think it's a fit situation, because you have a new OC, right? And I agree with you. The offensive line can't protect him. But then I watched Todd Monken and what he did with Lamar Jackson, slapping on a quick game scheme where Lamar knows, if I don't have it in 1-2, it's getting out of my hands to the flat. I have outs. If you know that's an issue for you up front, as a new OC, you got to help that young man out, because you know he has the goods, but you got to give him options where he can get the ball out and he can be efficient and stay on time.
Yeah, see, I thought his rookie season was a little overrated because it was just there weren't a lot of turnovers, but there also weren't a lot of big plays. He stacked a lot of his touchdowns in 1 or 2 games. So to hear you say that you think he's lost confidence,
I do.
Well, the whole thing on him was how cerebral he was, how mature he was.
Yeah, not to cut you off, you lose confidence when you've been hit that many times.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a big development for a kid who's won 2 playoff games already, his first 2 full seasons in the NFL. So 18 touchdowns against 17 turnovers for C.J. Stroud.
Got to be better, man.
You think the takes were hot here? The takes were flying earlier today where a Hall of Fame quarterback called out the Eagles offense, and I just found myself nodding along.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get into it, Willie.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. Coming up. First things first. We got a big one on Fox. Undefeated Eagles taking on the undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 o'clock this Sunday. But despite their record, Philadelphia's stagnant offense not exactly looking like they did last year on their way to the Super Bowl. And Drew Brees has gotten into the takeosphere, and he has noticed, saying, quote, "I respect Philly. They are winning games. I can't stand to watch that offense. It's the most boring offense," end quote. Welcome to the dark side, Drew Brees, giving those spicy takes. And here's the thing. Is he lying?
Oh, don't start.
Come on now.
Don't start. You've been on this train with Drew. I didn't know he was a passenger. He just exposed himself. I know you've been driving this train.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, they are winning, and that is obviously the goal. But I thought the whole thing in Philly was like it doesn't have to be pretty. Our quarterback doesn't have to throw. Right. We are willing to play a little bit of rugby and scrum because all that matters is winning.
Stop it. You're disrespecting the tush.
I am disrespecting it intentionally. But if they're 27th in yards, but 8th in points, like that, it isn't pretty, but it's getting results. Like I feel like it is objectively true.
Yeah, but I just don't know how 3-0 is boring.
Well, that's
to any football
But
player.
That's not what he said. He said, I respect the winning, but the offense is boring.
Yeah, but for a guy who played in the West Coast offense, mastered it under Sean Payton, and sure, if you turn on Drew Brees' tape, it's vertical routes, hit the seams, bang, bang, down the field. It's action-packed, I get that. But we all acknowledge that he was an elite at that position for how he flourished in the offense. Why can't we have the same appreciation for Jalen Hurts? Why can't we appreciate that he's able to do his job at an elite level, playing that position, and because he's not doing it the Drew Brees way, or he's not playing in a West Coast offense, that he's boring? No, what he's done time after time is say, hey, what's on the menu? I'll cook it up and I'll serve it. And now it's boring. By the way, the man hasn't lost yet.
No, winning isn't boring, and Philly fans should not be bored by it. I'm just a little bored by it.
If we're just looking at the winnings columns, the wins and losses, like who cares how it looks, right?
You better say the right thing. I'm never buying you lunch again.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm with Drew.
Yeah.
I love what Philly's doing. I love how they don't care about what it looks like. However, when I think a little deeper, the guys actually that are on that offense actually do care. When you look at their body language, when you look at them and how they convey the messaging in the media, like okay, it's on us. We're putting ourselves in these situations. We got to be more productive offensively. We got to be more of executioners.
Because they weren't boring last year.
They weren't.
They weren't boring last year.
They weren't because we saw the explosive plays more consistently. Right now, we're not seeing that. And so, from a receiver's perspective, in that offense, I'm like, man, come on, man, get me out of here.
I disagree because we're not acknowledging Jalen Hurts finding the answers to the test. We said going into the game.
That's a whole different conversation.
It's not great.
Yes, it is.
As a quarterback, if I'm saying we run the ball, boom, we run the ball, they stop the ball, right? All right, I got to lean on my big-time receivers. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We saw this man peppered around to all his weapons, and now it's exciting.
And all I'm saying is, can we see a little bit more of that?
It's week 3.
I understand that.
We're calling for the Eagles to get in there.
Can we, from a receiver standpoint, can I get that before just waiting to the late in the third quarter?
But think about what we're asking now. Now we're asking the Eagles to change their recipe for style.
And that's why I said
that doesn't get you to
as
the
it
Super
pertains
Bowl.
to the Eagles and what they do. They're going to throw the ball about 25 times a game. They're going to run the ball 30 to 35 times a game.
Eagles football.
That's their way they win. That's been their key to success. All last year, that's what allowed them to stack those W's. Totally understand that. It's a little boring now.
You stuck the landing on that one. Let's go to Dallas.
What are we talking about?
It's revenge game season.
Micah Parsons visiting his former team, and Jerry Jones. He probably wishes he was playing quarterback. Micah was asked what it's going to be like to be on the other side of Dak Prescott and his old teammates. Here's Micah.
It's going to be painful. You know what I mean? Dak's my guy. He was always like a good mentor for me. But you know what it is. I always told him if I ever faced him that, it'll be a great matchup. So I'm excited to see what Sunday brings. Accepted my fate weeks ago when the trade happened. So for me, it's just all about playing another game.
Hey, listen, far be it from me to call another man a liar, but I do not believe Micah Parsons for a second that it will be painful for him to sack Dak Prescott.
No, I disagree. Listen, I had no problems fighting my real brother, right? But in terms of football, punching your brother in the face, wearing a different uniform from you, it takes a little bit of an emotional drainage on you. It's tough. I remember the first time I played the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the middle of the field, coin toss. I'm sitting there in my Jets uniform. I'm looking across Ben Roethlisberger, a man who I pledged my life to not too long ago, right? It's a $100 million quarterback. He helps me eat. I help him eat. And then standing in front of him, it was hard for me to look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and him as now the enemy, as he's the ops. It took me to halftime for hey, dog, you got to cut the cord. You got to go do your job. It took to halftime to get there. And then when halftime came, then the dog came out. I ended up getting in a fight on the kneel down. I got in a fight.
There's the Willie Colon, I know.
And so my point is, I agree with him from that standpoint. We also got to understand what Brian Schottenheimer did when he got the nod to be the head coach. He put his locker and Dak's locker next to each other. And he told Cowboys, these two guys are our best players. They will follow you. And they built the relationship. So it's a little deeper than just football with these two guys. So I can understand why he says, hey, man, it's not gonna be as easy as you think. Now, if Jerry was out there, I'm gonna roll Jerry. but Dak, that's still my guy. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I can respect what he's saying. And behind what he's saying to us, there's a real reality of, but this is what I do. And I can't wait to prove a point to not only the guys in that locker room who know who I am and who respected it. It wasn't their decision. But to that guy who's going to be sitting up in that box.
Yes. Yeah, bring him
and
down
so,
here.
Naturally, yes, it's a revenge game. But to your point, of course, my brothers, man, it's all love until it ain't.
That's how I would have imagined it. I imagine as we watch this game, the theatrics are going to be amazing. I think there will be pre-game moments of Micah and Dak dapping each other up and him saying what's up to the other guys on the team and coaches that he was tight with. And then assuming Micah has a big game and a big moment, just like when he had that sack in week 1. And he did the one thing, or he looked up, he was feeling himself, he had arrived as a Packer. It was his welcome agreement moment. I cannot imagine that if he sacks Dak Prescott, in that moment he's going to be ooh, it's painful because I love Dak. I got to imagine he will feel some level of vindication. This team did not want me. They traded me.
Yeah, but I don't agree. I don't disagree with you in that aspect. But I think from a ball player, we got to remember, I don't think Micah wanted to leave the Dallas Cowboys.
He did, and then he requested the trade.
I think for somebody like me, when I was a Steeler, I was birthed a Steeler. I wanted to die a Steeler from a football standpoint. When I was sitting across looking at, I remember sitting in the huddle, looking at James Harrison, and he started laughing because he realized oh, you're on the other side of this thing now. Now we coming after you. And it took those little nuances within the game, man, dog, I gotta let that die. I think that's gonna happen to Micah Parsons this Sunday.
I know that's gonna happen. Once that whistle is blown and he's taking that field, he's not gonna be lined up in that 3-point stance or that 2-point stance saying it's gonna be painful. No, it's going to be please, Halfleague's going to put him in positions to where he can be successful, and I think it's going to be all intentional. He's going to get Dak a couple times.
I also respect that he didn't give us the cliche of it's just another game, because it's very clearly not another game. And also, Micah's a Hall of Fame talent, but he's not going to go in the Cowboys Ring of Honor.
No.
That's a good point.
He needs to have signature moments as a Packer. Because that's the team that paid him. It's the team that traded for him. So he needs to start stacking those moments now. Obviously, it comes in the playoffs mostly. But I feel for him, he's this is my home now. Mm-hmm. So he's got to ball out for the green and gold.
Well, then also for that defense, right? You're looking at a defense that's been struggling up until now. And their best players on the other sideline, that's when, for them, they're going to have some venom in their heart dog. I feel like we've been a lot better with you, but since, you're not on the side, the hell with you. So.
Well, and the Cowboys, we know, are going to be trailing, so they'll be dropping back to pass. So there will be a lot of opportunities for Micah Parsons to say what's up to his old friend, Dak Prescott. Coming up, though, have the Giants already made a mistake with Jaxson Dart?
Oh, he just got the job.
We'll talk about it. Welcome back. It's time for First Things Last. After a disastrous end to the Chiefs game where Russell Wilson multiple times threw the ball out of the end zone instead of to, wide receivers, the Giants have decided now is the time to start first-round pick Jaxson Dart. This comes a mere 10 days after the Giants reportedly felt no sense of urgency to make this move. While leaving open the possibility of change, the report said New York would prefer to be patient, let Wilson play well, and give Dart the time he needs to develop. Now, to be clear, Wilson did not play well. But to also be clear, that should not matter. Jaxson Dart, like all rookies, should play on his timeline, when he's ready. Now, I'm inclined to do that sooner than later because it's beneficial to know what you have as early into the initial rookie contract as possible, but the Giants' handling of this reminds me of a different situation. In 2017, the Bears drafted Mitch Trubisky and signed Mike Glennon to a one-year deal. They said the goal was to start Glennon and develop their top pick. After just 4 games, Mike Glennon led the league in turnovers, and under internal and external pressure, they played Trubisky before he was ready. And perhaps more importantly, they played him for a coach on the hot seat. Trubisky struggled. The Bears fired John Fox, and Trubisky never escaped the turbulence of multiple coaches in multiple years to start a career. Now, that is not to say that if Trubisky had stability out of the gate, he would have been great, and it is not to say that this will necessarily doom Dart. But teams need to make these decisions on the player's timeline. If Russ wasn't good enough and Jaxson Dart wasn't ready, then they should play Jameis Winston. If Dart is ready now, there's no reason to believe he wasn't ready 3 weeks ago. Dart looked great in the preseason, so here's to hoping he's good enough to overcome his organization's mismanagement of his early development. That's all I've got. Thank you so much to Greg Jennings and Willie Colon. We'll be back tomorrow with more First Things First.